the show? Is that all right?
Welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 91. We have a special guest, Mike BlueHair. Just real quick to our viewers. I do have some pressing issues to address right before we get to our guest. A previous guest that was on our show, Lori Love. Send him in your prayers. And if you guys are in the UK or London area, you guys can go to the Royal High Court. He's going to be in court on the 28th and 29th, fighting that 99-year appeal to the United States. And also, net neutrality will go into effect. The vote will come on December 14th. So, any activists, if you guys want to start emailing the FCC and start protesting at any FCC things, or you can go to battleforthenet.org. Do what you can right now. But anyway, we're going to get to our guest, Mike BlueHair. Hey, what's going on?
Hey man, how are you?
Pretty good. um, should we get down to the bare meat of it? I kind of wanted to go over what we were talking about before the show. What was going, what the situation that's going on with another cop watcher?
Sure. Last week, well, I have to go back a few months. There's a few cop watchers in Portland, Oregon that go out and they come out with me and other cop watchers in this area and do a systematic patrol of the police. Basically, we film the stops and document them to protect the people, kind of a civil rights watchdog kind of thing. Well, there's been multiple people that do what I do out here that have been habitually dissatisfied from their experiences with trying to go and interview people, elected officials, our mayor, our police commissioner, our that's the same guy. Our mayor and police commissioner has the same job, but our police chief, numerous command level Portland Police Bureau officers like sergeants and whatnot, and since none of them will respond and allow us to come and interview them in their offices, the level of frustration went up higher. And now, over the last 6 months, there's been uh, a couple dozen home visits to various elected officials and command level police officers, where the activist Chris Ponte, the person who we'll be talking about in a moment, among them, went and knocked on various doors of cops and our police commissioner, our mayor, our district attorney, and wanted to ask them questions the same way that corporate media does it all the time. You know, if there's a big news story and it's a hot story and it's worth a lot of advertising dollars, they're going to park a news van out in front of your house and wait till you leave or come or try to interview people that are coming and going out of your residence. Same kind of thing, except we're people that are allergic to bullshit and have absolutely no respect for authority unless it's unless authority respects us. I mean, the human sovereign individual should be more respected than any government or any you know uh, uh, organization that wants to say it represents the people. But anywho, so there's been a number of arrests and harassments and jailing, caging of multiple people in Portland that do police accountability activism. Last week, Chris Ponte, you can find him at the Oregon Cop Watcher, or I guess we can link him after the show hits the internet. I'll get you guys a link, but you can link to his channel. But Chris has been doing a bunch of these home visits, and he was at work. He works a night shift, and here's as much of the story that I'm allowed to tell because his
Yeah.
lawyer would kill me if I gave any more. He was at work, and two plainclothes officers of Portland Police Bureau show up at his work and tell him that they're there just to do a favor for the FBI, and they have a warrant for his arrest for a felony weapons charge. They're alleging.
What?
They're alleging that he did something he wasn't supposed to do with a firearm. Now, the alleged evidence that they produced, because they did take him. So we had two officers with Portland Police Bureau, and I have to say this. Uh, they made it a point to stress to Chris, without Chris asking, that, hey, we're not really the guys, we're not really the officers that are part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force. We're just here doing the FBI a favor. They kept telling him that over and over without him asking. So, of course, now everyone in the Portland activist community knows exactly who the two officers are that's assigned to JTTF. It's those fuckers. It has to be. I mean, it's funny that they had to keep saying that to him, even though he never asked them. So their alleged evidence that when they tried to interview him, Chris just kept saying, "I want to talk to my lawyer. I don't want to. I'm not answering any of your questions." But they kept presenting evidence to him, and they had to go through his Facebook account back, I think, more than 2 years to look for this alleged evidence. So what we have in America is cops that are working with the FBI going through activist social media to find reasons to arrest them. And it's all because of these home visits. It's all because of the cop watching, the willingness not to respect authority. Because, like I said before, I don't believe authority, people in positions of what they perceive to be power, should be respected unless they respect the sovereignty of the individual.
Yeah.
If they're not going to respect us, we shouldn't respect them. It's that simple. It's a two-way street. They work for us, supposedly. That's what they claim. So they're going to have to act like it.
Well, yeah.
But
Go ahead.
so they ended up taking Chris in, and we were told Portland has voted as a citizenry to leave the Joint Terrorism Task Force. And the Joint Terrorism Task Force is basically a FBI organization that streamlines data and information sharing between local, state, and federal law enforcement apparatus, and they were created under the guise of defending the country from terrorism. Now, the activist community of Portland vehemently protested and lobbied and went on public access TV shows, and spoke before city council ad nauseum. And we were told by our elected officials, but that this anti-terrorism legislation would not be used against activists. And here we are, it being used against us. The way I look at it, if they're going to do this to Chris, they could do it to me next, or anyone. I believe that everyone, no matter what country you live in, we need to start reacting as if though it's us being slighted. When there's a guy I read about in the UK, Brian Hall. He was like protesting out in front of Whitehall for years, and he was the only one. They declared a no protest zone for so many kilometers around that building, except him. He's grandfathered in, the last human being to have any free speech there. Like, it's just incredible. And the guy had like a bunch of anti-war posters around of children that were killed and whatnot in Iraq and Afghanistan behind him. But until we all react as if though it's us being oppressed, there's not going to be a lot of change. We kind of, oh, it's happening to that guy over there. I'm just going to cover my cute little bear hat and like hope it doesn't attack me next, or they don't come down on me. No, I mean, we need to start figuring out some way of defending each other.
Yeah, we don't want to get violent with them. We get violent with them, it's just going to pour on more.
Agreed. I don't mean that way. I mean, there's all kinds of, creative ways we can help each other out. I mean, there's legal means, there's ways of, getting made whole again through the court system. There's artistic, creative ways that people express themselves. I mean, there's a guy, Danny Shines, that does the, I think, the Love Police or something. Yeah, out of the UK. Mm-hmm. I love Danny. He does the happiness carriage thing, where he'll take a bullhorn or a megaphone and get on a London tube bus And the guy starts out and no one's really responding to him. And he's, oh, this is the happiness carriage. And I just want to make sure that everyone's smiling. And I'm going to ask everyone on the carriage, you know, what are you appreciated? Or what do you appreciate about life? Just one thing. And he starts at one end of the carriage. And by the time he's at the end, everyone's laughing, everyone's smiling. He convinces everybody to like turn to the person next to him and hugs them. I mean, that's some beautiful, powerful shit. It's not my style. I'm very obnoxious. I have a reputation for vicious heckling. I'm a savage that talks like a sailor.
Yeah.
I mean, but I love these other activists that can have such a strong emotional impact on people and bring out these feelings of, you know, humanity out of people. I think that is just as powerful or more powerful than the sort of aggro kind of attitude that I go about my activism. But I mean, so there's all kinds of ways that we can, you know, defend one another. But I love the what was that guy's name? Charlie Veitch, the Scottish guy that was doing a lot of stuff in the UK a few years back. He doesn't do a lot anymore. But he had this thing called the Love Police, and I just thought it was just amazing the way that guy was going about, you know, getting people to embrace their humanity a little bit.
Have you
Did
seen
you see
the? Go ahead, Preston.
Did you see Portland, Oregon had voted to lead LEAD or leave the
Leave.
GT?
Yeah, we voted to leave the Joint Terrorism Task Force a number of years ago. And then, do you guys remember a very famous act of, quote, terrorism that happened in the United States? Do you remember something called the Christmas tree bomber at Oregon or in Oregon?
Vaguely.
No.
Never heard of it.
Okay, well, let me give you the pretext that the FBI and the city of Portland used to browbeat and manipulate the citizenry of Portland to go back into the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Okay, so a couple of years back, the FBI claimed that they thwarted a potential act of terrorism in the United States. It was Christmas. A few days before Christmas, we have a very, very large Douglas fir tree that we set up, and you know, there's 30 or 40,000 people that gather around the tree, and it's a big to-do. You know, there's just like a whole lot of people that come out for the tree lighting ceremony. Well, this is the FBI's story. They surveilled this 18-year-old kid by the name of Muhammad Osmond Muhammad for about a year. And they realized that he came up with a plot to supposedly blow a truck bomb up at the Christmas tree lighting ceremony.
Oh my god.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what came out, and you can look at the BuzzFeed article about this, and it's very good. You know, I'll link you guys to it after the broadcast. But if you do BuzzFeed. If you search thread BuzzFeed and Christmas tree bomber or FBI bombing plot, you'll find a lot of really fun links to all this information. But it came out during Muhammad Osmond's the affidavit of probable cause for his arrest and the FBI's testimony during the trial that, okay, they surveilled him for a year. They were multiple FBI agents were posing as affiliates of Al Qaeda
Oh my god.
to it befriended him. They were paying part of his rent. They were paying part of his light bill. This is one of the fun little details that I find amusing about it. They claim that they were recording a phone conversation. Now, this came out in his trial. And when they asked him how would he like to serve the cause of Islam, they went through a checklist, you know, of things that he, you know, will help you and facilitate your service to the cause. But here's your options. You know, we could fly you to some other country and allow you to work on charities and whatnot, or we could have you work on building infrastructure to build mosque, or you could be operational, meaning commit some act of jihad in the United States. Now, according to the FBI, they said that there were multiple recording devices saying he wanted to be operational, but they all failed at the same time. Now,
Huh.
multiple means at least like 3, right?
You mean so this kid
Yeah.
wasn't good at what he was gonna do anyway, right?
Oh no, it gets way more amusing than this. Just wait. So the FBI claimed in court that they heard the phone call happen, but they said that he was being recorded by multiple recording devices, but they all failed at the same time when he said that he wanted to commit an act of terrorism. That was the only, and that magic shitbird flew in court. Like that actually helped to convict him. Check this out. They actually went outside in rural Oregon with this kid and gave him a practice bomb and let him blow it up attached to a tree.
Oh
So
wait, what? They gave him.
they gave him a practice bomb and allowed him to go out and attach it to a tree and supervise him blow it up. Okay. Now this is fun. Check this out. The FBI provided the fake bomb in the truck. They provided a driver for the truck. They provided a fake. Yeah, it's hilarious. Until you're this poor Somali kid that's never getting out of prison. Okay, I mean, it is funny because it's ludicrous.
It's like why don't they just have the FBI in him, just joyriding with him while he's doing it?
Well, that's the old. Well, check this out. Okay, so they provided a driver and parked the truck and a fake bomb. Right? They had a driver drive the truck into position, and then they gave him a cell phone and said, if you press this number, it's going to blow the bomb up. So they handed him that fake thing, and then later he walked to a few blocks away to the Greyhound station and pressed the button, and they jumped on top of him. And then they're heralding in the media, FBI and joint, saves Portland, the symbol of consumerism, and Santa's fat ass will slide down on the fucking grease of the police state to like arrive at everybody's fucking Christmas tree and put little presents for the little brainwashed masses underneath their trees. The FBI saved Christmas. I mean, it's
This is almost as bad as the case where they got those mentally impaired guys in New York, and they said they were telling them that they wanted to commit jihad. And the guys were like semi-retarded, and they gave them like bombs and explosives, and all these guys went to jail and they're all mentally handicapped for,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is not an isolated incident. This is
No,
probably going
it's
on.
a pattern.
Yeah.
You know what's hilarious? Okay, check this out. Okay, let's pretend like the FBI is a fire department, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now. Okay, so. If the citizenry found the FBI, provides the bomb, gives this kid a practice bomb out in the woods, lets him blow it up. If they provide a truck, if they provide material support, if they pay his light bills, if they make friends with him, if they foment his radicalization, and then they position the bomb there, or fake bomb, and then give him a cell phone and say press, I don't know, press # for tyranny or whatever. He presses the button, they jump on him. Like it's ridiculous. If fire departments burning down a building are causing fear, because who's the terrorist here? Is it the FBI they told the citizens of Portland and the world that they foiled a terrorist plot, but they're the ones that contrived it. And they ran it on TV and like thousands of news stories all around the world about this terrorist kid, this Mohammed Osmood Mohammed kid, as if though he was some evil, member of, the war on terrorism has to get fought, but it's so frustrating to watch this sickening display of watching the governments are the terrorists, the governments are the ones that are making people afraid. I mean,
Go ahead.
Ugh. It's frustrating.
Well, I was going to say, not only that, they're seeking out the people that were plotting against them and creating cases against them for stuff that they've already set up in advance.
Yeah,
there's
a guy on YouTube. He was advocating for marijuana, and they started blocking his bank accounts. They were messing up his credit line. They're doing all sorts of stuff to this guy, and they were sending him letters in the mail for court dates, fines, all sorts of crazy stuff. I don't recall everything that they were trying to get him for, but being that he was advocating for marijuana, he was a hardcore criminal.
Wow.
Oh, Jamie Harmon says Anonymous is ISIS. Um,
Anonymous
Yeah.
is
So about that,
Jamie, I kind of beg to differ.
we're ISIS.
Yeah.
I don't work for Israeli secret intelligence services. Sorry.
Know
Right.
me.
Yeah.
Where's my check? I guess Soros
I
and
know.
ISIS need to pay up quickly.
I know personally, I'm not manufactured by the United States government. So
Yeah, I was itching my daddy's pants. How about you guys?
What?
I'm a meat popsicle, like Bruce Willis said in The Fifth Element when he's when they're about to search his apartment. They're like, are you classified as human?" He's all negative. I am a meat popsicle.
Straight out of turkey baster.
Yeah, I'm a proud product of an artificial womb.
I'm a spiritual medium. I'm a spiritual medium.
Cool.
Oh God, he snuck onto the show.
Troy is here.
Will Satan be joining tonight?
Sandwiches.
Oh,
Sandwiches?
there's another fun thing about this whole terrorist board. Is another fun detail. I'm trying to find it right now by scrolling around through links. There's something I forgot. It's just really funny. Oh yeah. So partway through this year of them surveilling Muhammad Osman Muhammad before they set him up to be a patsy for blowing up a fake bomb.
Yeah.
Okay. He asked them for support for money to go up to Alaska and work in a fishing boat, right?
Yeah.
And they immediately put him on a no-fly list so he couldn't go to Alaska and work because they wanted to keep their patsy there.
Wow.
Yes. So he would have literally been in another state with a job, and something better to do than blowing up fake bombs. But yeah, just precious stuff. Like, why do people fall for it? Like it's a trick that's older than dirt, is to foment fear and get people to give up their rights. But I don't think humans have evolved past that Cambrian place to where that we're so easily manipulated. Even me, I mean, I try to think I'm woke and so woke up, but once in a while I'll catch myself parodying some kind of thought or idea that was given to me by some plutocrat. It's like, why am I saying that? Like, whoa, like.
well, that's what I was going to say, Mike. Is I up until 2 years ago, I would parrot whatever was on Occupy Democrats. I really, like, I was so focused on my personal life and what I was doing that I didn't look outside my own sphere to really find out what was going on in the world, except for my watching of Loose Change. So when I saw something on TV, I took it as Bond. I was like, oh, well, that guy must have done something bad because the FBI says so, and I trust the FBI, so okay, that's the end of my day. I see it on a screen and then walk away. It isn't until you actually start caring about the world around you, you find out how fucked up it is, that you start researching these things and start actually searching for truth instead of taking the official version of what's going on.
Experts, sources, and officials say that everything is fine.
Yeah. Even though Egypt is about to run out of drinking water in less than 10 years, but everything's fine.
There was just
Everything's
a
good.
huge terrorism. It was a bombing about 8 hours ago in Egypt. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I
They
saw
blew up
that.
a bomb inside of a
it looks
mosque,
bad.
and then they were waiting outside with machine guns to kill everybody that was running out.
Wow.
So here it is, guys. Here's what people should search for if they want to read about.
Friday for you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just saying Black Friday for you. But
Well, technically it was Saturday over there, but yeah, I got you.
So if people want to read about this fake bomb plot that the FBI and the city of Portland used to manipulate us into getting back into the JTTF. It's BuzzFeed, but the article, the good primer is your starting place. You know, don't just take the article at face value. Of course, do your own research and look into it further. But it's called The Big Imaginary Black Friday Bombing.
Wow.
For real.
For real.
Okay.
Big
I'm looking that
Imaginary
up right
Black
now.
Friday Bombing. It's a BuzzFeed article, but it's got the links
big
to the FBI stuff and like, yeah,
Imaginary.
Black
Hey,
Friday.
Mike, you need to compare them, the FBI, to more like to the BLM. You know, because they don't mind starting fires, right? I mean,
Well, of course
in
not.
fact, they'll let them sit on it for a day or two, let them get bigger before they say,
Of
"Oh my
course.
God, there's a fire."
More hilarious as you go on. Like there was a lot of activists that covered the trial very well. So there's a lot of good data about how they railroaded this poor, teenage boy. He was like barely 18 when he was 17 when they started making friends with him and messing with him. Angry kid or a person with a subnormal IQ, and they just mess with them and groom them to turn them into, the next poster child for justifying their bloated budgets.
Yep, they do it all the time.
I was gonna say that's probably how they.
Do it all
I was
the
gonna
time.
say that's how they got back into Portland, right?
Yep.
Muhammad Osman Muhammad as a poster child for why we should get back into it. A fake, contrived terrorist act, and then now they're actually using the infrastructure to go after activists and surveil their social media.
Right.
They were planning that all along anyway.
Well, yeah, that's why I've always been kind of weird about I've been telling people within the non and activist community, just be careful about what you put on Facebook.
Well, I think, okay, so I'll ask, has anybody here worked for a corporate environment?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. In a corporate environment, you have a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 20-year plan. I don't understand why everybody doesn't understand that the United States government has the same thing. They have their 20-year plan. It doesn't matter who gets elected. That 20-year plan is going to be in place in order to make sure things happen. So when they are planning these false flags, when they are planning these attacks, when they are planning to utilize people, they have a reason to do so, and it's already there, ready to go. So people are like, wait a minute, right after 9/11, we knew it was this guy and that guy, and we knew this and that. No, we didn't. We just had it ready to go so we could feed it to the public and say, okay, here's where our wars are. Here's where we're going to go be.
Last I heard, a lot of this stuff was planned like back in late 70s, early 80s.
I love this line of conversation. I've never met a conspiracy theory I didn't like. So
yeah, conspiracy theory was a word that was heavily promoted by the CIA in order to stop anybody from investigating the JFK assassination. But the JFK assassination found to be real and was committed by our government.
absolutely, absolutely. Like, oh, please finish, because I can.
I was gonna say. So, if you guys get a chance, the United States government just made my job harder. They decided instead of dropping 300 more documents, that they were going to drop 26,000 more documents on the 9th and the 17th that they didn't promote. So, if anybody wants to jump into these documents with me, that'd be great.
Dude, there's like 40. I told you, there's like 60 gigs worth of like PDF documents, dude.
It's ridiculous. So
Dude,
Wow.
it's like taking through garbage, dude.
Yeah, I have a Macintosh.
Can my kitten make his internet debut for a second here?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Almost
this is Kitten, or I wanted to call him Pig Butt or Motherfucker, but the girlfriend has issues with that, so I've decided that his name is Kitten. That's Kitten. Like, I love this cat. I mean, you can do anything with him. You can hold him for like 40 minutes and rub his belly, and he'll just milk tread. Like, this cat is amazing. Like, he's the best little buddy ever. Like, you can hold him for an hour and he won't try to escape. It's like he's like in the BDSM or something. You can just hold him and rub him and rub him. He just won't go. He just won't get it. It's going to be the perfect lap cat. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, his name is Kitten. I love this little guy. Oh my god, he's like, get it. Okay, one of my vices, I mean, some guys get caught up in the porn. I'm like, fuck that, dude. Cat memes and cat videos. I love cats, man. They're adorable. They're just the best thing. They lower your blood pressure. Did you know if you have like high blood pressure and you get a cat, like it's totally like therapeutic for you?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, any animal should be.
Yeah, say it with dogs too.
Except for birds, man. They don't even sit around and chirp, 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 chirp.
Yeah, those
Trying to-
macaws are those fucking parrots, man. I'm like, quack. What the fuck is that?
They'll wake you up in the morning.
Bring it back to the JFK stuff. There's still documents out there that they still haven't released yet. Am I right about that?
Say again. I'm sorry.
I suppose
Yeah,
they're
there's still
digging,
some documents. There's like 1,000 documents they still haven't released yet.
Well, so there's 300 that they supposedly they haven't released, except for they released the 20,000. It was like 14,000 and like 16,000 on the 9th and the 17th of November. So I don't know what they didn't release now, but I know that they didn't tell us that they were going to release any of that. And they haven't told anybody that they released all those documents. So it's pissing me off because I'm going through it and I'm trying to go through it. But then I got more documents and it's just ridiculous.
And you gotta spend like if you got a fucking slow connection, it's gonna take you like 6 days to download it.
It did. It took 3 days to download from a hotel, and then the computer died.
Always
So
public.
then, and that was only 20 gigs. That was 20 gigs that was zipped in zip files. So then we got to the last file, and the computer shut down. So we were like, okay, government, fuck you. So then we went to another computer. We downloaded it for, it took at least a day on that connection. It was pretty good. In these 11 zip files that you get from the archives, you have to click on the first one in order to get any of the files. And then, so I'm like, okay, great. So I can work with this. This is 6,702 files. Great. I can work with this. I tried to do this on my Mac, and it says, no, error, no, insert disk. So I'm like, fuck you. Okay, I go back to the Windows computer, and then it only lets me extract one file at a time into another folder, because I can't unzip it on my Mac, so I need the folders or the files individually. So somebody that supports me went ahead and did it. It took forever, but they did it. But I just couldn't sit there. My mind said, fuck you,
I know.
United States government.
I tried was thinking of like a logical way to try and get you the files to you, but it wouldn't work.
No,
it wouldn't work unless I like sent them in like a USB stick. That'd be like the overnight it.
Yeah, that's what he did. He said that to me. But it was with the 20 gigs in the zip file. So then I had to unzip them. So now he's unzipped them, and he's sending me that stick. But then we also have the other 20,000, 30,000 files. So I'll be old and dead by the time I get through all these.
You're going to need an analyst.
Wow,
I'm
Yeah.
trying to get
Seems
Kitten
like
in the video.
Wikileaks should be all over that.
So what do you guys?
You think so?
What are your guys' thoughts about what happened in Vegas? You think it was another?
Oh, dude, let me jump on that for a second. You know what pisses me off?
Yeah.
Okay, I work at my YouTube channel really hard, and it took me a couple of years, like 3 years of promoting to try to get my YouTube channel bigger. I got 16,000 subscribers. Good for me, for political content, that's fucking difficult. Any the who, like, I upload a video showing the windows of the Mandalay Bay Hotel where he was supposedly at, just a little graphic, it's a little rectangle on the screen, and it just shows where he's supposedly firing all these rounds from. And I said, I don't have a conspiracy theory. I just think it should be discussed. I know what I don't see, and I don't see any muzzle flashes. And the video was screaming into the internet. I was so pleased. I was getting like 2,000 views an hour for the first 24 hours, right? So the first 24 hours, I got over 69. I was doing more than 2,000 views an hour because it had more than 69,000 views on it. The first 24 hours. And then YouTube slaps this parental guidance thing on it that says, oh, you have to be 18 to click on it, and started getting a couple hundred views an hour. I'm like, you motherfuckers. So I guess me asking a question. I wasn't asserting a conspiracy theory. I even said in the voiceover of the video, I don't have a theory because I don't. I just don't see any muzzle flashers, and I think people that know more about guns, because I'm a camera nerd. I'm a fucking camera nerd. What do I know about guns? Like, but I just wanted people to discuss it, and then they just put it in the back of the internet bus. I guess they're like, there's people that say it didn't happen,
What?
and
Because
like I think
because
that's
I knew somebody who got shot in the arm that was there, and there was
there's.
definitely bullets raining down at that concert.
I mean,
Well, there was bullets coming from somewhere, but my friend Stephanie took a picture from the canopy outside the street on the canopies that were facing the actual hotel, and there was no bullet. There was no bullets that went through that canopy. Now, if you're an expert sniper, yeah, you're not going to have any bullets that are stray. But this guy's a 60 whatever year old accountant, and there was no stray bullets anywhere. So I think there were shots, but I think they were in the stadium. I don't
Yeah,
think they
there
came
was
from that hotel.
we put up that video about 3 weeks ago of the forensic acoustic analysis from uh, the health ranger who's like ex-military, and he was analyzing the data from the audio files and was proving scientifically that there was another 223 caliber rifle firing from a closer range.
well, I've been editing video for how long? Since about 2008, and I've edited audio as well. And there's an echo, and there's the firing, then there's the echo, and then there's other firing at a different decibel level,
Yeah,
and then there's other echo, and there's just okay. And you can see it when I stick it in my audio editing software. There's like 4 sets of peaks that are behind each other. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I don't have a theory, but I know what I see with my eyes, and this is my area of expertise is audio and video editing. And there's literally 4 sets of waveforms at a certain point, and they all correspond to like da 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 da, like the fuck. What is this? I don't know, but this is the data that I understand and can understand what is. But maybe there were shooters in other locations or whatever, but I don't know.
His analysis said that there was there had to have been a shooter within so many it was much closer than where the other decibel ranges were coming based on his mathematical calculation. He's saying it should have been anywhere where there's a dirt mound on a lot that's directly across from where the concert was at, and any circumference around there.
The dirty knoll.
Yeah. Was where the other shooter was where the other shooter would be, and he was basing it off a mathematical calculation on the caliber of bullet that he thinks that was shot, and I don't know, like he's doing a bunch of math. It looks legit what he's putting up there, and this guy, I don't know.
I must be nuts because when I'm analyzed, I went through and analyzed like when it first happened. I haven't looked at it since, but the few days after it happened, I went through hours and hours of every little video that I could find, and I went through everything with a fine-tooth comb, and I downloaded my favorites and looked through them in slow motion, 28, 30, 60 frames a second, whatever it was, and look at every single frame of the areas of interest, and just got real nerdy with it, man. But like, my thoughts were like, I would have got really, everybody else was like, I would have ran in terror, and I'm talking about on my social media, I would have got way better video than that. So my brain must be broken, because when people, if people are ever going to get shot at, or I resign myself to the idea of I'm going to get good video of the shooter. That's the way I think.
Oh, me too.
Well, yeah,
maybe there's something wrong with
there
me,
was
but
something
like,
a little very odd that seemed to me, and maybe I spotted it and nobody else, not too many other people outside of like the IT field or anybody that knows it. I guess anybody who has knowledge about a computer would have spotted this. So when the FBI found Paddock's computer that he was using as he was using I believe it was a screen, and I think he was using it as a a monitor to see it through the other side of that door. Right, it was placed in front of the door, and that whatever it was connected to, I believe it was a computer, did not have a hard drive in it. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
so this guy who's I think like my gut instinct based on the way they described him is that he's got a gambling issue and he's got a drinking issue and he's using they've been prescribing him benzodiazepines for the last 6 months, so he's not in like pristine shape, mentally. And this guy somehow had advanced knowledge enough to run a computer without an internal hard drive. All right,
Right.
and I'm like this doesn't add up. This doesn't add up to me. It's something an average user would be able to do.
Well, maybe
Right.
the FBI shitheads took their hard drive out before they took the picture.
That's what I'm thinking, because it was probably a lot of data that they don't want out into the public, and it mysteriously fucking disappeared,
Yeah.
because it was probably an FBI plot anyway.
I would love to spike all their Red
Probably.
Bull with, like, in a perfect world, not me, but in a perfect world, somebody would spike all those vitamin D deficient assholes in basements that spy on people for a living. Somebody would spike all their Red Bull with acid or something, so they would
Right. THC,
maybe
something.
something like expand their consciousness, learn how to chill the fuck out, realize that like the snitch kid, just because they were the snitch kid and that ran the AV machine for the hall monitors in school, maybe they should do something else.
Right.
Maybe they should evolve out of that consciousness that they had when they were a kid, when they worked as a hall monitor.
Well, here's the thing: you look at any one of these cases. I look at motive. What's the motive? Why would they do this? And then people were turning to this loosely connected 6 degrees of idiocracy fucking theory on 4chan about metal detectors at the casinos. But that never happened. Nobody ever tried to do that. So what was the real reason behind it? Why did anybody care? Why would anybody do this? Like, it's not a gun deal gone bad. Nobody's going to make more noise off a gun deal gone bad. That doesn't make sense. There was no real reason. They're even studying this guy's brain. They've given this guy's body to like some college to study the guy's brain. They're not going to find anything that helped him solve the case because more than likely he didn't fucking do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the amount of attention of hunger from the public to get information about this guy is very intense. Like, I mean, if you want to not count Wounded Knee, this is the largest mass shooting in American history.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. You're right.
Ignore the American Indian people, but yeah. So since this happened to those 50-some white people that died, there's a lot of attention on it,
And still no
it's just crazy.
answers.
Yeah, I mean,
Public anyway.
this is crazy. Like, that fucking lunatic with the orange hair that shot up the Aurora movie theater, the guy that was
Joker.
on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that kid that was on scopolamine, or the devil's breath drug.
Oh yeah.
That
It's a pretty dangerous shit.
like
Yeah.
he only killed a handful of people, and we know more about that little bastard than we know about Paddock. Like, this guy's life, that Batman movie theater shooter had his life dissected and opened up, on full display for everyone who has the ability to click a few mouse clicks, But Paddock is like, there's not a whole lot of info.
He didn't really leave a digital footprint either, which was kind of weird. And he was an accountant for a defense contractor.
Yeah. But he didn't leave a username. He didn't leave anything that would state, hey, this is why I did this, or these are the organizations I'm affiliated with. He left nothing. There's nothing to state. There's no smoking gun to say, oh yeah, he did it because of this.
But he was getting a lot of money from somewhere, though.
Wasn't it? They were saying he was a high roller, and that the casinos have come out and said that he would easily, like, lose like $500,000 in one bad night of horrible gambling. He's like been known to do that. That's a lot of fucking money to be thrown around.
Yeah, I would have quit after I lost the first 100 million.
Well,
Man,
not if you were a gun running to ISIS FBI dude. You'd be
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
paid well.
Yeah,
They should have
I was
wore
gonna say I was
a black fucking hoodie.
yeah, and I know gamblers. I've known a few compulsive gamblers, actually quite a few compulsive gamblers.
isn't it like a drug
That
to them?
it is an addiction, just like drugs
Yeah.
and alcohol, and the majority of them that I know, they will come up with maybe once or every so often they'll come up with a shitload of money, but they have lost so much more money than they've gained. So
I don't
Well,
know.
you remember what Robert Downey Jr. said, that it was a satanic blood sacrifice?
what?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, please tell me about this. This sounds great. Like, what is it?
No, that quote out there, it's there's some stories debunking it too, but that is something he really said.
Oh, that the paddock shooting all those people.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think it was on his Facebook.
Oh, because he was in front of the Luxor. I guess the Illuminati.
Well, the
Illuminati's-
Luxor, yeah, you're in front of a black pyramid with an obelisk,
Well,
and
there's what
The building was owned by Jacob
fronts
Rothschild
of the
or
Luxor
something.
Pyramid, right? It's like-
Soros has contacts.
Yeah, but don't you think-
in the
Yeah.
Mandalay board?
But you think if it was like a satanic blood sacrifice, don't you think there'd be like pentagrams drawn in blood everywhere and all sorts of weird shit? Something pretty obvious.
If
It
Ozzy
is in the
Osbourne's
city.
not gonna bite the head off a bat while people are being shot, I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
no on the satanic sacrifice. But just,
Well, you know what was really weird is that 6 days after the shooting happened, Congress passed the Liberty Act. I don't know if that's
Liberty Act.
yeah. Did you hear
Just
about
distraction.
that?
What the fuck is this monstrosity? It already sounds frightening. What is this Liberty Act?
Yeah. I didn't actually go into the real specific, but it's very similar to what to an extension of what the Patriot Act was doing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I guess I think it was mostly in relation to interrogating people, not only domestic bound but internationally bound, without with or without supervision from a superior officer or something like that. So yeah.
You made me think of
Basically,
something
if
that
the-
scares me. But go ahead.
If the secretary decides that you're a threat, you're in trouble. It's just an administrative check mark on some report.
You know what scares the piss out of me? Like after Herr Trump was elected, and he's been so polarizing as a political figure, as a person that's playing out in the theater of the mind that we call politics. That you have the extreme left calling everybody that happens to be right wing that commits a criminal act as terrorist. You have they're just working really hard to get mass shooters and anybody that happens to be white, that does a horrible crime like Paddock did allegedly, depending on what your beliefs are. But like they're a terrorist, and you have everybody on the right wing that into the political perspective, screaming about how if a hippie ties themselves to a piece of construction equipment or burns down a car dealership because they don't want the CO2 destroying precious Mother Earth, they're a terrorist. But you mentioned this, what did you call it? The Freedom Act or whatever?
Liberty Act, yeah.
The Liberty Act being an addendum to the USA Patriot Act. Okay, here's the thing. I'm terrified when I hear anyone try to call another American citizen a terrorist, because if you look, just Google this stuff. Like if you're watching or listening to this, Google Section 802 of the USA Patriot Act, and it's the definition of terrorist. It says involved acts dangerous to human life. Involved acts that are the violation of of federal law or the law of any state. That may cause a danger to human life, that is intended to coerce or influence a civilian population. So if your act is intended to coerce or influence a civilian population and human life is endangered. Okay, so that definition is so broad. Let me think of a thing that fits that criteria.
Yeah.
If you're jaywalking with a sign that says "I hate the president," and your own life is in danger, or possibly the person that has to swerve off the road and they're hurt, then you're a terrorist.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Or anything. If someone ties themselves to a piece of construction equipment and the guy gets in it and you endangered your life. It doesn't specifically say that you can't be endangering your own life. It just, but okay, so people are trying really hard. They're cheerleading for their own enslavement. It's frightening because people want American citizens to be allowed to be defined as terrorists, and all the lovely stuff you get when you're defined as a terrorist. Let's think about what's behind door number 1 and door number 2 and door number 3, Alex. You get indefinite detention, you get a FISA court, you get evidence presented against you that you can't challenge. You're not allowed to face your accuser. They can present secret evidence. You can get indefinitely detained or pressure applied to you. It's not torture anymore. They call it pressure. You can get pressure. You get all these fun things, the usurpation. I mean, fuck the Magna Carta, fuck the Bill of Rights. You get no due process. You get no discovery. A normal citizen, if they commit a crime in America, you get what's called discovery. The state or the prosecutor has to present to you all the evidence the state has against you so you can defend yourself. Well, my hands is a lot less amusing than my kitten, so I'll face this up. Well, if you're a terrorist, you get no right to face your accuser, and you have no ability to defend yourself against these charges that are brought against you in secret that you never know what it is. So there's this big question mark, and you just get to go get to prison or get some sensory deprivation. They'll put a black hood over your head and eye muffs and ear muffs and play heavy metal music while they have you chained to a floor. And I mean, this is kind of gross, but if you read a lot of stuff about what they've done to people in Guantanamo Bay and a lot of these other black site prisons, they are literally doing fun stuff like John Yoo. If you type John Yoo's torture memos in there, you can find this fun stuff. But they actually will take a person that they think is affiliated with a terrorist organization into a room, and then they'll bring their kid in the room, and they'll threaten to crush their kids' genitals with pliers if they don't talk. They are literally holding men down, tying them up, and they're raping them with metal poles in these pressure sessions. That's the kind of stuff that's done in our name. They rob us with taxation to do this kind of stuff. So when I see people in the media, screaming about how they want another American citizen defined as a terrorist, I'm scared. I mean, they're basically saying, hey, I want this guy to be tied up, raped, sensory deprivation, have his all of his civil rights taken away, and have them disappeared in a black site prison. No, I don't want that to happen to anybody, because that's some medieval shit. That shit we stopped doing in like the 12, 13, 1400s. Can we evolve as a society? Before 9/11, this is a fun thing. Historically, the FBI were the ones in charge of investigating terrorism. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the FBI's protocols and all their rules and all their training manuals and all their training literature that we can look at right now said, and they went by the doctrine that this was their playbook. Torture is unreliable. It's an unreliable form of obtaining information from people, because fuck, you threaten to give me a hangnail, I'm going to tell you Mickey Mouse conspired with fucking Pluto to steal the green cheese out of the middle of the moon. No, people will say anything to avoid pain. So it's ridiculous. Torture is an unreliable means of obtaining information.
What about when they were using drugs to get the information out of people? What do you think about that?
LSD.
It wasn't just that. It wasn't just that.
You remind me of a really great documentary. I think that's my cat behind me. It's called Human Resources. It's called Human Resources, and it's done by a group of people they call themselves Metanoia Films. But it's about the history of the education system and how people were manipulated by the education system and brainwashing and MK Ultra and all those fun things. But it's a great point of reference, that film, because I had a lot of fun with the film because I would pause it every 10 minutes and Google, that can't be true. That's too horrible. Click, click, click. Oh my God, I feel dirty. Okay, watched another 10 minutes of the movie. Oh, that's stupid. That's not true. Click, click, click. Oh my God, there went another tick down on my perception of humanity. Like it was just a horrible, horrible thing. But I mean, I learned a lot from the film. But yeah, so it's called Human Resources by Metanoia. But it's personally, I think it's brilliant the way it ties all the brainwashing together. But to ask your question about what I think about using drugs to manipulate people, um, if you think medical records are actually sealed, you're about as bright as a burnout light bulb painted black and stuck in a tar bucket. I think for the last couple decades, we have had millions of Americans on a toxic soup of a myriad of psychotropics, and the government is going through that and seeing how it affects people. The largest test population in the world is the contiguous United States. Okay. Um, I full on believe that there's probably stuff they can do with drugs that reminds you of things and concepts you see in the most far-reaching sci-fi novel or science fiction film. I think they could probably condition people to be just like in that movie. God, what was it? Manchurian Candidate, where you have somebody programmed to think they're someone else and they're committing assassinations for you. I'm of the opinion that various governments and large corporations probably already have those kind of drugs. You know,
Oh, the Manchurian Candidate, yeah.
yeah,
Born
where they could
identity and
program,
all.
or program somebody to do something that they wouldn't normally otherwise do and not even be aware of it. Sure, I believe that that's totally possible.
I was going to say, the fact that you say that that the government is doing experiments on the mass population. That fluoride is a neurotoxin, right?
And it's also one of the. There's a fluorine ion isolate in the Prozac.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was just about to get read my
Yes.
mind, man. I was like, yeah, because Prozac is fluorinated, and they
Yes.
treat it for
Yes.
they don't prescribe it as much anymore because they use other stuff, but the precursor
Lithium.
to I was gonna say most of the most prescribed medication for antidepressant for God fucking 15 years was fucking Prozac.
Closer to 2025, but absolutely, you're absolutely right. It's a fluoride compound. Rat poison.
Arsenic, yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely. If you do a Google image
Arsenic.
search for fluoride rat poison, you can get some of the old packages. You can get pictures of them. It's a lot of fun. Let's give them rat poison.
Nice.
That was a great industrial coup by the company I used to work for, Alcoa. They actually got everybody to buy their waste product, which was this fluoride crap,
Hydrofluorous and
make you buy.
acid, yeah. Which is a poison.
Yeah, instead of them having to dump it at great cost, they get paid to put it in your water.
That's
I mean,
interesting.
it's pure genius, man.
That you work for Alcoa because who was that was saying hydrofluorosilicic acid?
Yeah, that's it. I did.
Yeah, yeah, right on. It's funny that they when they add that to municipal water, they don't talk about all the other byproducts that are mixed in with it. It's not just it's not just fluoride. But when you work for Alcoa, that's the aluminum company, right?
Yeah, I was at a rolling mill for like sheet products and building products. We didn't. Well, we actually did come up. We call it, as a byproduct of dross recovery. So when you concentrated the shit, it's like, holy cow, man! You get this massive stinko. And I remember when I first started there, like early '90s, they had to ship that stuff off to a waste site at big expense. And later on, they figured out this scheme, to get rid of it all. But yeah, you would get that at just about any of the plants. You're going to get some of it.
What kind of breathing equipment do you have to wear when you're around such a horrible, toxic, yummy thing you should put in your water?
We didn't do anything.
Oh man, do you twitch a lot?
It's an industrial
that-
factory,
that
man. I mean,
says
it's
a
a
lot.
dusty,
Right
Do
there.
you ever
it's a dusty, hot aluminum factory. You don't have time for that shit. It's fucking hot.
Nice. That explains a
Wow.
lot.
And you guys dicks to each other.
Meanwhile,
man.
at the aluminum factory, hey, did you guys see that? No, I don't see nothing, man. Must be these fumes.
Yeah, aluminum's good for your brain too. It gives you Alzheimer's.
Oh, right on.
I am an anarchist, but Mike, you guys want to hear about my presidential pick for 2020?
Okay.
What do you
Hell,
got?
all right, man. He's the man. He will fuck a chicken in every pot. He will put 2.2 pounds of beautiful, flaky, fluffy Bolivian marching powder in every living room. El Chapo 2020. Okay, El Chapo for president. You know, I mean,
So there's
That guy's like a
there's some
superhero,
legal
man.
issues
He's
there.
always
I think there's some
escaping,
legal
man.
issues
And
to that.
he was fucking.
Oh,
You know what
man.
brought him down? Is he fucking he got all shacked up with that actress. What's her name? I don't. That was like one of the things that led him to him.
I think her name was FBI Anna or something.
Yeah,
Or...
she was she's like the Tina actress. Yeah, that was a big that was like one of the things that he fucking slipped up.
Good.
He works for the DEA.
He's on trial
Yeah.
right now. He's on trial right now.
Yeah. Well, that's never stopped him from busting anybody before.
Yeah.
El Chapo 2020.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you're going to be a gangster, he was, he was a better one.
Oh
At
hell
least
yeah!
he's not like Los Zetas. They just kill everybody. He
Those
actually
are-
just went after his enemy.
Los Zetas are crazy motherfuckers. They like to pretend like they're demonologists and like cut people up and shit and pretend like they were ritual sacrificed and shit. And there's what is it?
Oh,
There's some Catholic god that those motherfuckers worship, or Santeria god. What's he called? Jesus Malverde, the patron saint of cocaine. Like they do some crazy shit, man. I mean, it's when you read about this, you're like, why aren't they making a TV movie? Because this is fucking creepy, you know?
And wait, they
Like putting,
worship the patron saint of drug lords.
yeah, Jesus Malverde
there,
is their god. That's what they
there,
call him.
there is a small little like a chapel on the side of the road outside of Cunha, across from Del Rio, Texas, that has all their little statues and stuff in there. It's one of those Muerte shrines that
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah, it's spooky,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. It's like, damn. I mean, did you have to cut his head off and, replace his tongue with a cow's tongue, have it sticking out? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Get a
Well,
hobby.
if you've killed enough people, it gets boring, Mike. You got to come up with new ways.
That is true. I mean, once you've like done all the quote unquote subversive shit, I'm sure you get really perverted and have to, take shit to new limits. I mean,
You're like, hey guys, we got to make this shit evil, not weird. I mean, not weird. We just got to make it evil.
right?
Yeah.
Make evil again. The bar
Very
keeps
scary.
getting raised. I mean, I read 1984. They required it in junior high school. Like, my teacher had us read it. It was one of the books. And the shit that's going on now is like, that book's boring. I mean,
Right on.
Well,
I mean,
what was going on in 1984 is happening in modern society. Look at United Kingdom. They have the largest monitoring system that's going on anywhere, and so lo and behold, shit like that is coming to the U.S.
yeah, fuck the Union Jack. They should just put a silhouette of a CCTV camera on their flag.
Yeah.
Hey, they're going to have a star and a moon symbol on it soon enough. They're going to go Islamic. So,
Oh,
like
Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see their new flag, man. They're pushing that sumbitch
I
through
have
too.
never seen a culture so paranoid about being politically incorrect at the point that they would allow themselves to be raped to death on TV. And if the person happens to be like, a little darker than a brown paper bag, it's all right. I'll just push out. I'll pretend like it's not happening. Like, I mean,
Well,
wow.
Sweden's weird. Hate speech.
Wow.
What they defined as hate speech is a very serious crime over there. So
Frowning in the direction of someone who's darker than you, is that hate speech?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so by definition in the country.
Okay,
You don't
right
get to
on.
defend yourself either. You know how it goes.
Wow.
It's like these new laws you were talking about. See,
And just to be clear, I'm totally here's the thing, there's nothing you're going to do to stop immigrants from coming to the United States over the Mexican border. Like, those cartels, they have freeways. They have, you can drive a truck through these things. I mean, the only way that they would be able to keep that border completely shut off is if they would build a concrete border wall They would hire some of the contractors that they use to build the permanent military bases that protect the assets of the myriad oil companies and mining interest in Afghanistan and Iraq to build a permanent concrete wall and put landmine the thing, put pheromonal and heat sensors in the ground and um, patrol it with predator drones. That's the only way they're going to keep that border secure. And I don't see the government spending the resources to do that. Like our forests are porous, and there's not a damn thing to do about it. So people complaining about it happening, there's going to be mass immigration to the United States, and there's not a damn thing anybody can really do about it. It's just a mathematical fact that people in a poorer economic situation are going to migrate into one that are richer, where there's more opportunity. They're just going to do that. I mean, it's an instinct to want to better yourself and be in a better economy, and that market pressure of those people wanting to come over here is stronger than the government's will to do what would be necessary to keep them from coming over, which is spend trillions and trillions of dollars. I just don't see it happening. So complaining about it is kind of a waste of time. I mean, that's my humble opinion. I mean, but
go ahead.
Oh, I'm done.
No, I was going to say Congress is going to decide whether they're going to build this Great Wall of Trump, whatever the fuck they're calling it, and it's going to cost American taxpayers, they're saying, about $40 billion. And
sure,
but we're monetarily sovereign.
Yeah, and then I was going to say that, like, in actuality, this is probably going to cost $120 billion, and it's going to come
out. It's not going to cost us anything, really.
Oh,
I mean, the money we are monetarily sovereign. They use the taxes because we pay taxes because the slaves pay taxes, but really, there's no real exchange of funds. It's all bullshit.
Well, yeah. They through coercion and the threat of violence, they rob us, and the money that supposedly we have ownership of because the government stole it from us. Right. Like the psychological, the lie on top of the lie on top of the lie, reinforcing what people perceive to be as truth is just getting. It's so convoluted, the layers of lies that people are willing to believe. I mean,
yeah, true. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I would say, I don't care how much money they will spend on a wall. People will just get higher ladders. It's really not going to stop any. They're going to get more ingenuity. It's not going to stop anybody from hopping over the board. Never will, never. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny too. I mean, if you research the NAFTA superhighway, you look at the toll roads that are already going through Laredo, Texas, and then it goes up through or across to Kansas City, Missouri, and then they have this huge land shipping port that's like technically this weird gray area between sovereign territory of Mexico and the United States, and then it follows highways that go up to Canada. Like, the roads are tolled. All of this road, all of these roads that go in that direction where they're going to build this 20 lane or 15 lane thing with natural gas lines and high speed internet and all kinds of other fun stuff right beside it. The toll roads that they're using to pay for that are taxing American people, but they're the money, it's not a tax, but the money goes from American people using the roads, but they're going to build up the infrastructure in the shipping ports to receive goods in Mexico, and the Oakland shipping ports on the California coast. Okay, that shit is going to dry up and become nothing, and that whole industry is going to go bye-bye, and it's cheaper for them to move stuff and more efficient, and for them to move the huge amount of shipping into Mexico and across and through the United States. Because as you guys are very well aware of, America has lost like 80% of its industrial capacity in my lifetime. We're a service economy.
Yeah.
We're dependent on globalism. If China didn't make the shit and we didn't buy the shit, there wouldn't be any shit. We used to make our own shit, and they used to make our own shit. They used to make their own shit, and then we traded our shit. But that shit's not happening anymore. If you're following my shit.
Mexico's right.
Shit's on point.
Mexico sold their port to the Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even run the thing. They sold it to China.
Really?
Well, our
Yep,
biggest
that's why it's
oil,
going to be so butt cheap.
our biggest oil refinery is owned by Saudi Arabia. Like, I don't understand. I don't even understand why you have borders. Like, stop fucking around and thinking that there actually is a border. There's really not a border. It just depends on how much we want to sell ourselves for.
Why wasn't I born a Saud or a
I know, right?
Demenci or something?
Oh God, that would
Like,
have been great.
oh my God, if
Like
I could
20
live,
years ago.
it's like the Jetsons. Dubai is like the fucking Jetsons. Okay, they have these huge skyscraper hotel things, and like people have Olympic-sized swimming pools and like ski resorts and shit
Yeah.
in, and they have drones that fly. Hey, I'm gonna go visit my cousin. Okay, let's get in a drone, and you fly in your fucking helipad from one like thing to the other. It's, I mean, that's like Coruscant and shit from like Star Wars, like, but it's real in the world. Like my poor ass is like, I'm, having to travel at 35 miles an hour in like a fucking car. Like I'm a loser, you know. Like, wow, these people are gods. I mean, in a way, they're gods. I mean, can you imagine? Okay, like skiing in a hotel room, in a hotel complex on the other, and a drone picks you up, an autonomous drone picks you up and like flies you over your cousin's house and on like a damn city that's made to look like a shape like a palm tree that you can see from space. Like what the fuck?
Well, they say you're saved because if you'd have been a cop watcher over there for the Sharia police, they would have
They cut
chopped
my
your
fucking
head off
hands
by
off.
now. Yeah, you'd have been screwed, man.
Oh yeah, they would have cut my hands off and stuck them up my ass. So
And your free speech, come on, get the fuck out of here.
Hell of a circumcision.
I don't know, man. The Jetsons, but George Jetson had like the video phone and stuff, and now we all have those. I mean, I could Google Hangout on Air or whatever. I guess on my, no, what is this? The FaceTime on my iPhone. That's pretty fancy. I never could have dreamt that when I was like 12, 13-year-old kid or 11-year-old kid that this magic fucking god awful spying creature in my hand would exist.
Well, they had them in Star Trek, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They had the flip phone before it was a flip phone. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, then the government got a hold of all of it and turned it to a slave tracker for you. So now they know
Yeah,
exactly where you're at.
You know what I have? I have them over there on a shelf. They're for dentists when they're transporting like mercury amalgam fillings and stuff. But I have lead containers. So when I want to have a private conversation, I'll take I'll unplug everything from the internet. I'll unplug my smart TV. I'll take my laptop and I'll set my laptop outside my sliding glass window, and I'll stick my phone and I'll stick everybody's phone in the room in a lead container, and then I'll have a private conversation.
It works.
That's the only damn way to do it, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I can't afford to have a big room built with a Faraday cage in it or whatever. But that's my low-tech DIY privacy setting on my phone is stick the fucking thing in a lead box,
Tin and aluminum's good for that.
Well, that's what we did at Standing Rock. Anytime we wanted to have an actual conversation where we wanted privacy, we would take our phones or whatever kind of devices we had and put them in a box somewhere outside the room so nobody could listen. But a lot of times this is at the camp at the casino, so like every room was probably bugged anyway.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were on your ass as soon as you showed up.
It's a good thing we weren't doing anything like crazy. Like we were just talking about, okay, we're going to do an action where we hold these signs in this place. And, it wasn't like
It was so desolate that there's like no fun urban environments to do any fun, crazy black box shit that I don't condone.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's time to change hats.
Wait,
So,
were you talking about? Were you talking about DAPL at the casinos?
Yeah, there was only one
Oh,
casino there.
yeah. I was gonna say, wasn't Terrence like doing some like special ops like right there? Nobody could figure out what the fuck he was doing.
I know nothing about that. I will say nothing out loud.
So you
As
guys
a
are
matter
like
of fact,
anons and shit,
I
right?
can't even hear you. I don't hear you. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I got a question for you guys. You guys are like supposed to be like, computer like hacker types and stuff, and I'm computer illiterate. Like if I press a button on an app and it works, I'm satisfied. I'm a genius. But like, so is it a bad idea for me to keep all my passwords in a on a picture or in a file on my desktop, like right there on the
You're
screen?
looking right at it, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're looking at the piece of paper, huh?
No. I actually put it right on the desktop, dude. Right?
Okay. Right
Is
on.
that bad?
I mean,
Yeah.
unless
That's bad.
somebody's trying to break. I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad. But I mean, it's better to memorize.
So,
It's better to memorize them.
No,
so
just write
Mike,
it down and stuff them in a cereal box. Nobody
Right?
what
eats
I'm doing,
cereal.
right? Now
That's
that
where
I
I keep
know
my
that
pistol.
is
That's high tech, man.
I'm finding the nearest
Fucking
window. Yeah, I'm gonna find the nearest window that's pointing to your computer, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna use the telescope, and I'm gonna read your passwords.
That's beautiful, but doesn't it pixelate? Because I've tried that actually on people's like
No, with a
videos. I'm
telescope.
like,
No, you're fine.
oh, a
You can do
telescope.
like a
Okay.
yeah.
Oh my god. So this
Well, don't worry. When you leave, the FBI comes in and looks at all your stuff anyway. Notices
Right.
if there's any
God, this
changes.
bored bastards.
Right?
They're like, I think the last place
Log-
they're going to look is your cereal box.
I wonder how many government agents have seen my O face. You know, when I'm like hitting up my favorite pornography, like
Right.
can you imagine the shit those poor bastards have to look at? It's like they've probably seen like way more O faces than any prostitute at this point. You know,
It's a dirty job, and they have to do it.
I was going to say, Facebook wants your porn as well in
Mhm.
Australia.
I already have your porn.
Well, now they want your dick pics on top of everything else. I mean, that's how jaded
Jesus.
these people are coming. They're
You
getting.
know what I find ridiculous? I mean, speaking of dick pics, like people freaking out and talking about those Air Force guys that drew the dick in the sky. Like,
That was some
Yeah,
real
that was
talent.
hilarious. That was
That's some
over the
talent.
place where I was at.
they're like unimpressed with torture and nuclear power plants melting down, Monsanto vandalizing the genetic code of fuck everything. But like, there's a dick in the sky. I'm freaked out and pissed off now. I'm like, really? Yeah. So dudes are gonna draw dicks. I mean, that's like part of our social psychology. It's part of like it's nature. I mean, motherfuckers are gonna put cocks and balls on shit they fucking draw. I mean, I'm like. Fuck, I'm like a middle-aged man, but when I'm in the fucking toy store and I'm bored, I'm setting up the stuffed animals like they're humping each other. I mean, there's more important shit to get pissed off about. Oh, there's a dick in this guy. Yeah, and there's a dick in your brain, and you're allowing it to be there. Like, pull it out and start thinking for yourselves or something, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was one of them that got in trouble for drawing dicks in schools, like on Superbad, you know.
Zero tolerance policy for penises, young man. No,
Their NCO's
Well,
like,
what? Now,
the
wait a
fuck?
minute. What if that thing was a chemtrail? And that was just a clever way of disguising a really nasty chemtrail.
Ah, now you're onto something.
you know what's weird
That's a
though?
conspiracy.
Well, like, okay, here's one. Like, jet fuel is basically kerosene, right? I mean, that's basically what it is. It's kerosene and a bunch of other shit, but like, there's stabilizers to make it burn at a steady rate or whatever. But like, here's one for you. To manufacturers of jet engines have spent billions of dollars over the years developing fuel that burns cleaner, meaning less additives, less shit in your fuel, the less weight. So what is it? Thrust divided by the wingspan or whatever equals lift. I don't know the fucking equation, but it basically the better jet engines that they've developed, and they've spent billions of dollars over a fucking multi-decade daisy chain of patents going forever to make fuel that burns more efficiently, meaning having less leftovers. So when I was a kid, there would be a jet trail and then the damn thing would disappear. So if the technology is evolving with these engines, there should be less shit coming out and hanging out in the air. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's just logic. There's a logic thing. I don't know what chemtrails are, but there's something, and they're definitely, somebody's adding stuff to the fuel to make it hang out for longer. That's all I know. And why would they be doing that if the point was to make fuel that would burn cleaner? So they'd have less
the
fuel
director of
weight.
CIA the last director, James Clapper, actually admitted that there was such thing as geoengineering and chemtrails.
You mean they actually had a director of the CIA that was named after a venereal disease? Brilliant.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good too. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a
Beautiful.
Muslim too.
Beautiful. Allah Aqua. And,
Converted.
you know, why does it burn while I pee?
We had
Wow.
that one guy on our show. He could tell you all the ins and outs and the legality status. What was his name? Resonate. Jim Lee. Yeah, he's got climateviewer.org, and you can literally look on that online 3D map on who's doing what and where the money sources is coming from, and in great detail. But not as far as chemtrails, but as far as what is it? These brain machines and shit that they're making.
No, my guess, having seen what Alcoa did, is that they've created yet another corporate genius point here, where they've gotten the jet airlines to burn some of their nasty shit and pay them for it, rather than them having to dump it.
That's possible.
And we can make it all stratospheric. I mean, it's all part of the other program too. So it's a win-win, man. They're making money all over the place.
You know, there was a scary Dr. Evil motherfucker that was like really high up in a position of power during Obama's tenure as president. His name was John Holdren. It was Obama's. John Holdren was Obama's
technical advisor.
He was his science advisor during Obama's presidency. And there was an interview of him as he was Obama's science czar, where he was talking about trying to combat global warming. And he was talking about putting reflective particulates into the atmosphere. That's a possible, or using jets to. He basically asserted the idea that government should use, chemtrails to save the planet from cooking from the global warming. But the guy's history himself, it's creepy as shit. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, him and two other people wrote a book called Ecoscience. And Ecoscience is written in textbook format, and it's filled with a lot of lovely, crazy-ass eugenic shit that you would think that Hitler, came up with or dreamt up when he was, taking drugs, or one of Hitler's syphilis hallucinations. But it talked the book Ecoscience talked about a lot of fun shit, like he thought it would be the whole idea of ecoscience was that the human population is going to destroy the planet, and unless we do something to control human population, the world's going to come to a screeching halt. So we have to allow government to be a fascist totalitarian nightmare and take away all our rights so that we can reduce population to further the common good. But some of the ideas were lovely, like he thought it would be a really lovely idea. Now remember, Ecoscience is written in textbook format. Like, this motherfucker wanted people to teach this shit. Thank all the gods and goddesses and all the myriad pantheons of the world that this never happened. But he thought that women should have to get a subcutaneous implant put in their arm that would release a chemical to sterilize them, and that they would have to go to a government testing facility and have her IQ tested and her psychological evaluation to have her certified to have babies. He thought that there should be a world army that would enforce forced sterilization and population control. He thought that they should use sterilizing chemicals to be put in the water to, get rid of us useless eaters. What else was some of the fun stuff? Oh yeah, they wanted a world council to examine all patents for all machines to make sure that they're not harmful to the environment, to basically retard any kind of free market, or to stifle the ability for anyone to be able to invent anything unless they get approval from cliques of plutocratic madmen that think that there's just way too many useless eaters on the planet. But Ecoscience was a trip, man. But when John Holdren was Obama's science czar, when he did this interview, you could say, "Oh, this is crazy, creepy, conspiracy theorist shit," and he thought of that stuff in the late 70s, early 80s. It's not on his mind now. But when he was talking about chemtrails being used to in the interview to protect us from the global warming. You can look on the shelf behind him, and Ecoscience is laying back there. You can read it as plain as day. It's like right up here, like he's proud of it. Like, you know, when he's like being interviewed on TV, Ecoscience is on the shelf proudly behind him. I mean, that was some creepy shit when I watched that. I'm like, what? There's no, you know, horror movie soundtrack music going on? Like, where's the psycho shower scene? I mean, this guy's got the ear of the president of the United States, and he thinks it's a good idea to, like, you know, have a world army to you know, enforce population control. I mean, how fucking creepy do you get? You know?
Now, I'm glad you brought up this guy, and I'm looking up his Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I'm wondering at the same time. I mean, obviously, this guy's like a mad scientist, whatever.
Yeah, it's like Dr. fucking Evil. Oh, what, the sharks don't have lasers on their head? You know,
Right.
it's like, what the fuck?
And yet, he has no opposition when he gets elected to his last position in the government. Like he goes through with flying colors.
Oh, sure, they greased the rails of that position. Like he slut.
Yeah, it was March. I mean, Obama takes over in January. He goes through in March, but yet we can't get Trump can't get anybody through. So I don't get it.
You know what's weird is, okay, here's the thing, right? Trump is a plutocrat, and he's probably a sociopath because, I mean, who the fuck would want that job unless you were a sociopath at this point?
Right. You have to be. Right.
Right. I mean, you think like a shark. You're like a lizard that would eat your own babies if you'd want to be the president in the 21st century, okay? But like anywho.
Absolutely.
So I believe that Trump used his own power and influence to make himself president. So all the alphabet soup organizations and all the deep state motherfuckers are like, fuck you. You mean, like, he can do what the fuck he wants because he don't owe anybody shit, right? So he's kind of like a wild card, and that's why I believe he can't get shit done. It's because usually when a motherfucker gets in there, he's already owed a guy who owed a guy who owed a guy who filmed him getting fucked by a donkey at some Bohemian Grove thing, and if he doesn't do X, then, you know, it's all hee-haw, and he's showed doing an act of bestiality on TV. Like, I mean, these motherfuckers get all kinds of crazy kind of convoluted relationships that they have to form as they go from being, you know, a city auditor to a mayor to a governor to a president. Like, there's all these influences, you know, there's all these layers of organizations. Well, fucking Trump used his own damn money and his own power and influence to become president, so he doesn't have all these trappings, and I think that's why he can't get anything done, is because there's the deep state and the people that actually run shit are like, well, fuck you, you don't owe us anything. Like, how can we control you?
True.
You know?
True. Except for the people he's picking are total idiots. But besides,
like Goldman Sachs and Goldman Sachs and friends.
Yeah.
Sure, like,
but it should have went through smoother if he was a normal politician with the normal back scratching, the normal, I guess, traps of a politician. His guys would have went through quicker because he would have already built those relationships that said, I just gave you $5 million. I just let you bomb another country. Okay, now you can give me the favor of letting this guy through. He doesn't have those favors.
Right. Well, I think a lot of, you know, if I want to waste my time on it, if I wanted to do research on Trump, which I really don't, like, but right. I'm pretty sure I could find all of his cabinet positions having something to do with some financial arrangement that he has with someone else. If I were Trump and I were an amoral sociopath like him, I would, you know, try to accrue as many favors as I could while I was president, so I could get something on the back end on the way out. You know, and that's the way these fuckers think.
Well, and with the Constitution totally being erased, not even being followed at all.
Sure, it's gone. It's lip service. At this point.
He breaks he breaks the Constitution every day. Like every single day, there's a Constitution violation of something that he's doing. But it just goes to show that the Constitution doesn't matter.
Sure, the last three presidents. I mean, I thought it was really hilarious. I was really, really involved in the Occupy movement. And, you know, people thought that Obama was going to, a lot of people in the Occupy movement thought that Obama was going to help, you know, be something positive. A lot of the people that leaned more left during the Occupy movement. But I kept trying to stress to people, well, you look at the facts. Okay, Obama claimed to be, a man of the people, yada yada yada, crap, crap, crap. But to date, Obama's presidential campaign for his first run made more money, more contributions from Wall Street than any other candidate in the history of this country. So how exactly in the hell was he going to be, about wealth redistribution when more money was given to him by Wall Street than any other president in American history? And then Bush, idiots took Bush W at face value before Obama, and he's going to be a conservative. Okay, 9/11 happens in government. This sounds real conservative. Let's create the Department of Homeland Security, and let's put the Coast Guard. Let's put them in charge of the Coast Guard. Let's put them in charge. Let's come up with this TSA, this fascistic conglomerate. Let's spend billions of dollars in, invading countries, just bloating the federal system to this monstrosity. Government in size, I think, like almost tripled during Bush
Yeah.
W's. Yeah, like how the fuck is that conservative? Like,
yeah, they had a
wow.
article. They had actually a one-page article, I believe, in the Washington Post or one of those major newspapers that showed the expansion from the CIA, NSA, and FBI to like 300 departments of government and security and homeland crap, basically spy agencies that expanded pretty much overnight after 9/11 happened.
Oh yeah, yeah, and watching Bush climb on top of that pile of steel, and
God.
and on a bullhorn said, "I hear you," and the people that knocked these buildings down will hear all of us. I was thinking to myself, we're gonna invade the world,
Yep.
That's what I was thinking. Like America
Yeah, I
was
saw it
basically
live, and I was like, "Oh
beehive.
shit, we just became the supervillain."
I was like on the 9/11 truth trip. Like honestly, the day it was happening, I was asleep and I woke up to images of a businessman falling out of a building, and I'm like, "Am I having a bad dream?" And then I'm watching, that day they're saying that Osama bin Laden did it.
I know they knew within like a few hours who did it.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
my honest no bullshit thinking was, well, so how the fuck does Dan Rather have better intelligence apparatus than FBI, CIA, DOD, and all those other alphabet soup organizations? How come they couldn't stop this guy? Like, how that does okay? If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's not a fighter jet,
right? And we were at Standing Rock, and everybody was so excited that Wes Clark was on his way, and I kind of was too, because he was the one that pointed out that we were going to attack the seven countries after 9/11, blah blah blah. But then his son showed up, and everybody's like, "Oh, oops!" Like they weren't impressed at all.
I left the day that Amy Goodman was on the way, and they're like, "Oh, finally, Amy Goodman's paying attention, and everything's gonna change." And I'm like on the way to the airport, I'm gonna look. Okay, this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna come at you with all sorts of fun, less lethal stuff. They're gonna tear gas you. They're gonna shoot at you with rubber bullets. They're gonna shoot at you with FN 303s. They're gonna use flashbang grenades, and they're gonna come at you in armored vehicles. And they're like, "No, they publicize. They're running news stories about dogs biting us." I'm like, "Okay, man, I hope I'm wrong." And I went home. Like I just didn't have the money to stay any longer. But
Right.
but everybody was like, "Oh, we've won. Amy Goodman's gonna come and do a news story because a dog bit some people." And I'm thinking,
Oh, that wasn't. Yeah, you didn't hear me saying that.
No, that's not how they do. You know what frustrates me is people say that they're for the Constitution, but then when they look at Standing Rock and they start freaking out about the fact that water protectors burned some trucks, right? That they showed that on the news.
Well, but yeah, they said they did, but we have evidence to show that it wasn't.
Right. Well, even if it's true, or if it's not true, well, here's the thing, right? If you look at Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution, it talks about treaties. And it says that basically, without going into legalese, in Article 6, it states that an original treaty must be upheld and it's viewed as a supreme law of the land, and no judge or Congress can legislate basically reinterpolate or redefine the wording of a treaty. It has to be viewed as a supreme law of the land.
Yeah.
Now, the Sioux, Guala, and a big list of all manner of Indian tribes came together and they broke their foot off in the Ninth Cavalry's ass and scared the shit out of the U.S. government. And they signed a contract, a treaty with those native people that if they would stop terrorizing and embarrassing the shit out of the U.S. military, that we would enter a contract with them to give them free health care, state-of-the-art health care, state-of-the-art education, and the Black Hills and all that land that was around the Standing Rock Sioux and the Pine Ridge Reservation and a number of other reservations. And that was supposed to be viewed as a supreme law of land. And Article 6 states outright that treaties can't be changed or amended. So,
Right.
To date, no treaty that has ever been signed in the history of the United States with Native people has been fully honored. None of them.
None of them.
In fact, there's been all sorts of lovely things done to them. I only know a little bit of the history of it, but I'll share what I do know. Okay, if a tribal council votes on something, it gets passed into their law on their res in their nation. It's supposed to be viewed as sovereign. Okay, but through executive order and through legislation of Congress, the Department of the Interior can veto any decision made by a tribal council. What the fuck? Okay, it says in Article 6 of the Constitution they can't do it, but they do it anyway.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
the Constitution is literally, they might as well just shit on it, and nobody listens to it anymore.
I really think the Constitution and all these laws are for the slaves, not for the masters.
Well, no,
Sure.
I was going to say,
Sure.
we were talking about this before the show about what happens, to a republic if we don't pay attention,
Right.
And
Right.
we don't. A lot of people in America are so fucking retarded. They think we live in a democracy. I'm like, no, we have a republic, not a
Yes.
democracy. And if you
Yeah.
if the people don't pay attention to a republic, it will turn into an oligarchy.
And that's how you get Star Wars, and that's how you get Darth.
Sure. Darth
Right.
Sidious and all that fun stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm making jokes, but like if you read the stories and like Yellow Moon and Operation Yellow Moon, and like if you follow along, like it really does lead to like the bad times through government. Like before there was a government, and then the government went out of control, and that's why you got Darth Vader. So
if you want to
Right.
look at societies and how they've evolved, I mean, and you try to grok or understand Stranger in a Strange Land, little reference there, but I love that book. But if you want to get a understanding of world history, you want to look at you want to follow money. I think is a very important thing to do. If you follow, who benefits. Someone mentioned that earlier. You mean if you look at financial ties, I mean, people like to complain about the British Empire invading everybody, but they don't want to look at the financial history of, say, the East India Trading Company. That corporation was way more powerful than the monarchs in the time periods that the world was trying to make the world England. I think if we pay really close attention to money and who's standing the benefits, we get a closer version of reality that we can.
Well, that's why the Panama Papers and the Paradise Papers are so important, is because it shows where the money went. It shows what money is interacting with others. You have the Queen of England's money interacting with Apple's money, interacting with other people's money. And I gotta think that there's somebody that doesn't like the queen and doesn't like the crown that is saying, hey, wait a minute, this is bad. And there's got to be something done, but I don't think we ever see it. I think it's so behind the scenes we just don't see the justice.
I'm always feeling like when I try to understand what's going on in the world, when I look at my social media, when I look at my news sources, like I'm always feeling like there's some invisible fight going on that I'm not privy to. You know, I mean
Right.
these old corporations that are
before
having
the news even gets to you, there's already some fuckery with it.
Yeah,
Yep.
like I just
Fuckery.
it's hard for me to.
It's a private club, and we're not invited.
You know, it's really hard for me to take anything at face value. Like even, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of a pessimist at this point in my life.
I look at it more as a caste system. You got a bunch of different things going on. You got the banking and fascism at the top for the corporate people in the banks. They're above the law, above taxes, diplomatic immunity, etc.
Sure.
And then below that, they give you socialism and communism and along those two, to control the people. So
Insertism here.
Yeah, there's multiple things going on, but it's not a republic. That's for sure. It's more like a caste system.
Sure, I can see that, but like what I mean is like influence peddling, like everybody that gets elected as to a government office has probably done some shit that'll suck the paint off your house and give your family an permanent orange afro, and a lot of that shit's probably been videotaped. And there's a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy that's got like videos, copies of every horrible thing a guy thought he was doing in a brothel to a donkey and while he's wearing a purple gorilla suit or whatever these freaks do. But like I don't know how is it that everybody's a molester all in the same week?
That seems to be
everybody's a rapist.
Yeah, that seems to
this
be.
week.
That was something that even Corey Feldman has been talking around for 10 years, but it takes Harvey Weinstein for all this fucking shit to start popping up in the media. Now it's an everyday thing,
Yeah, it's like
the media has the stories, but they just snuff them until some point comes 8 years, 10 years down the line. I mean, it's totally ridiculous, but
it's like a media trend now. It's like, okay, it's like they have a button they can press, and then everybody that's got a rape story will turn purple.
It's like next week will be the Killer Clowns. Next month,
right?
There you go.
Yeah, some guy showed his penis to everyone.
So I got a joke for you guys, right? Because fuck it, I'm gonna tell a rape joke. If you don't like it, you can all fuck off. But okay, here it goes. What rhymes with Jello pudding pop?
Bill Cosby.
Rape. Oh my god! What the hell? That just ruined it for me, man. I liked Bill Cosby until that happened. Oh no, I thought he was funny. I thought he entertained me as a child. I like watching the Cosby Show, but after all, I mean, okay, if one woman accuses you of rape, there's a chance you didn't do it, right? If three women accuse you of rape, chances are you raped at least one of them, right? For definite sure. If 100 bitches come up and say he raped me, I mean, you're the devil, okay?
They're all gold diggers.
I mean, I don't know if they are, but that's a lot of women. If there's 100 people bitching about being raped, I mean, probably raped about 50 or something. I mean, that's creepy. That's a whole lot of accusations. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what if it was one guy that got raped by a bunch of women down 30 years? Is that cool, or is that something you just sweep under the rug too?
No, I think that rape is a crime of power, and I think it's repugnant, and it's one of the most horrible acts that can get done to another human being. But if you really honestly look at it statistically, feminists in America, this is not going to get me any brownie points, but fuck them, I got to be me, But feminists in America say we live in a rape culture and women have to always be afraid. But the majority of rape that occurs in our society is men raping other men. Prison rape statistics dwarf all other rape statistics combined. So men are raped more in this culture than women. Okay, more men are
Wow.
raped in prison than any other kind of rape
Oh yeah,
anywhere
but
else.
a lot of men don't speak about it.
Oh sure. Well, we got to be a tough guy. I got to be.
Yeah.
I'm not a victim. I'm not a bitch. I didn't get raped.
And nobody
Like,
fucked me to ass.
yeah, nobody will put me there. But that has to do with our conditioning. We're conditioned to be stoic and not talk about our feelings and not have feelings. Women can cry and people feel sorry for them, which is the natural reaction for someone if they're crying. But if a man cries, hey, it's every man's right to cry, but hey, it's also every other man's right to point and laugh. That part
Yeah.
of our psyche has been removed from us culturally. We're not supposed to
Think for ourselves.
think for ourselves and have emotions. Really, we're supposed to like drive cars and have washboard abs and be strong and stoic and just fucking take it. Like if our
Mm.
feelings are hurt, we're supposed to just suck it up. Like I don't know. I watched that movie The Red Pill and I was like, right on. Finally, somebody wrote and wrote a film and directed it and put this stuff out there, because there's just as many horrible things that go on to men in our society that happens to women. There's an equal amount of tyranny. It's just different kinds of psychological abuse that society does, I believe, to both men and women, and we're all affected by it in negative ways. But this whole patriarchy, men are ruling the world and women are just victims, and like yada yada yada, crap crap crap. Everybody with a dick is evil, and if you're a straight male, you're evil. Like, I think that's just stupid. I think it's a
I,
stupid, intellectually dishonest way of viewing the world.
I tell people to be careful, man. Anything that ends with ist or ism is obviously a weapon. I mean,
It's
if you don't think
weaponized.
feminism is wrong, I mean, how you feel about racism, socialism, fascism, you know, if you feel that's a weapon, wouldn't any other ism or fascist or racist be a weapon or a tool?
Sure. I think a lot of times labels are used to allow us to be manipulated into killing each other. To simply boil it down to a concept. I think our differences are played upon by plutocrats and the rich and the elites as a means to pit us against each other, because really it's a big resource war. I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but I believe that the elites view the larger body of humanity, the masses, as useless eaters at this point. I mean, technologically, we are on the edge of having AI.
Yep.
Technologically, we
Oh,
are.
that's already reached singularity.
Yeah, there'll be a singularity or the new Eden or whatever you want to read. I've read a little bit about transhumanism, fascinating stuff. But technologically, we're on the edge of that to where it's going to be ubiquitous. Technologically, we're at the place of automation to where they're going to be able to do shit like screen print cars or screen print houses. You
Yep, they
know,
can.
um, but
3D
I
print.
mean, but I mean in mass production. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't reached mass
Yeah,
production
yeah.
levels yet. They
Right.
can do it in concept. Sure, I've seen those demos. Um, they're not going to need a huge working class of slaves. Like, they view us as an enemy at this point. Like, whoever they are, insert label for those people that like to control things. If you want to call them the Illuminati, great. If you want to call them plutocrats, great, or corporatists, whatever you want to call them, they do exist. There is a centralization of power in this world, and I don't believe there's some kind of one world conspiracy. What I think is like, well, it's really simple. People in power, people that are rich, people that are powerful enough to influence societies, what do they all have in common?
Money.
Money,
Yet,
Yeah. Time.
power.
and what do they want to keep their power? Yeah,
They want total domination of power. That's I believe.
yeah, I agreed. So then naturally, they're going to conspire together in ways that centralize more power.
Yeah.
They're not
Right.
going to. So then, on almost an instinctual level, these fuckers will conspire together. Or if they're not conspiring together directly, they're aligning their corporate and their monetary influence in similar ways that it looks from the outside observer as if though they're part of some grand conspiracy. But it's just people clamoring to obtain more of what they have, which is power. That's kind of how I see it. They almost on an instinct, they want to. They have similar goals. They want to centralize power and they want to keep it that way. But my fear is AI being used against the common people, the automation being used against the common people. I mean, what do they do when they know that they can have automation provide all their goods and services? What do they do when AI can do all their thinking for them?
Well, that would.
They're going to get rid of the eaters.
Yeah. I was
What
gonna say.
is
I was gonna say that either
follow?
the correct thing would be for society to rethink how we do things, but yeah, the natural flow of things is that we would be eliminated.
If they follow the two laws of Isaac Asimov, which is one is robot or AI must not be able to harm a human,
But they can
two, the
rewrite.
AI must
They
not be able to self-repair.
But I was going to say they can rewrite. They're already capable. I mean, they've already been capable of rewriting their own code. So you put anything in there like a kill switch or whatever, it can fucking reverse it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the trend of how people with money, power, and influence how have they treated the people on the lower runs of the social economic class ladders throughout history? They've treated them like meat, the same way that a dairy cow is treated. That's how they have treated the people in the lower classes from history's dawn, for the dawn of humanity. Since Sargon of Akkad took the Fertile Crescent and formed the Akkadian empire, and then the Akkadians died out, and then you had the Sumerians, and then you had the Old Kingdom, no, the pre-dynastic, dynastic, Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom Egyptians, on and through the Persian invasion, like all the societies that moved out through Africa, and then you had Europe was tribal agrarian societies that melded into clans, and then these clans war with each other, and then eventually they became nation states. What has been the consistent way that people in power have treated the people on the lower rungs of the ladder? It's been to treat them like meat. So I don't see how human evolution, what we are as creatures, we crave power, influence, and dominance over one another. So I don't see these bastards writing any AI that's going to be good for me. I mean, can you imagine trying to beg a computer for mercy that's been programmed by a sociopath?
You have done wrong, Hal. No.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out there to you. I was reading an article around 1 o'clock today, my time, and they've already actually invented the T1000, the liquid terminator. It's electrified ink.
Oh no, they're using malleable liquid metals and using transistors to make things. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
To actually build things, they run electricity through a liquid metal.
It's in its baby phases, but yeah, that the next step of the T1000 could be a reality. Yeah,
That's interesting.
Right on.
it takes on the shape of whatever it's still controlled remotely. It takes the shape of whatever they remotely put it to.
I personally don't care about anything on my body except for my brain, so I will go for that. If that's a possibility where I can like jump buildings, please put me in a robot. I'm good.
Iron Man.
Right?
I'm tired of banging my toe and having pain. Like that's dumb.
Yeah, I can see
I
how
banged
that
all
was.
5 toes today. There's no way. That's
Are
not
you
right.
serious? How do you stub all
An
5 toes?
accordion. I stubbed all 5 on 1 foot, and I was like, "What the hell? I'm an idiot. I need a
How the hell-
robot foot."
How did you do that?
Yeah, it was pretty skilled actually. It
I
was
mean,
me
who's this?
walking by like a test. Just didn't hurt enough. So I hit all 5 just to make sure I was still alive. And yeah, it didn't feel good. Didn't feel good at all.
Ouch.
I'll take that
I've,
robot.
I've,
Well,
I've
just to
always had
take your brain out, though.
I've always had this theory that maybe AI is already let loose right on the internet. I mean that was I mean some people will shoot me down for pointing out the Shield virus, but
Do you guys remember Tay?
Tay?
Tay.
Uh,
Tay was a learning social network AI that Microsoft released. It was a millennial girl profile that
Oh, and it went bad.
it went bad, yeah, because she would learn according to how people interact with her. So thousands of people trolled the little bitch, and they turned her within like 2 days into a Hitler-loving 9/11 truth neo-Nazi. Like it was hilarious. Like
good shit.
he was like spouting off about how 9/11 was an inside job and Hitler was right and people should be not only vegetarian but they should burn all the Jews. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
think that
bad.
was Elsie, and she is still on the deep web.
Dang.
I
I
Onion
just
Land.
watched Chappie the other day, and it's kind of like if the gangsters get a
Don't
hold
hurt
of
Chappie.
the AI.
has anybody seen Sophia, the one that got citizenship is in Saudi Arabia? Sophia,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
AI bot.
If I did,
She can
we'd
walk
be
around.
dead
She can walk
if we
around
did.
and she can walk around and do shit. A lot of people think it's smoke and mirrors, but
That's one of my. You mentioned Chappie. I have to chime in, dude. I fucking love Deontworks, man. I love that band so much.
I love them.
Diane word, yeah, I love them.
Yeah,
Deontworks, fucking
Deontward.
awesome.
Yeah.
Deontworks in Afrikaans. I mean, like I've loved them for a few years now. I mean, they're just amazing. Like it's.
Oh yeah, Ninja's the shit. Have you
Yeah,
seen
man.
Ninja's
I'm a ninja,
explanation
motherfucker.
of when he met Kanye? It's hilarious. They animated it. It's on YouTube. They animated it, and it is fucking hilarious. Ninja actually comes out as the whole thing, and it's just hilarious the way he explains it.
Have you guys heard of Max Normal?
Nah.
It's normal.
Max Normal was the band that Ninja and Yolandi were doing before that. And it was like this really bad, like Ninja like wore a suit and he kind of looked like David Byrne and he had like the little 80s businessman haircut. And it was like this really weird, like really softcore rap crap. It's called Max Normal. If you just type Max Normal Deontwort into YouTube, you can see their old songs and it's fucking hilarious. But I still
I have a
love.
total crush on Yolandi.
Oh yeah, I can tell she wants me by the way she never talks to me or ever corresponds with me or
She's
never.
so
She never.
hot.
Oh god, yeah, like, yeah, man. I would do just all sorts of horrible things for a shot at like just one date with her.
She probably think you're an amateur, maybe. She's a
Oh
little
no,
weird.
man. I'm a ninja in the sheets, yo. That's all I'm saying. I think I could make her
Yeah, she's
happy.
hot.
I could make her happy.
Is it maxnormal.tv?
Yeah, just type Max Normal into YouTube and it'll pop up. Here, I'll
Yeah.
do it too. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Max Normal
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
Isn't
Oh
that
yeah.
terrible?
Oh yeah. It's not very good at all.
But I
That was
still
before
love them.
good production.
I remember.
No,
I remember seeing Diane. Where remember they did that independent video. Like it was like before they were even famous. They did. They did those one where they were two disabled guys in wheelchairs, and they were smoking those joints that were as big as people. And they had the Tech Nines, and they robbed somebody for.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I love that little movie. That was so great.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, man, those guys are my people. Just weird and
Well,
don't make any sense.
she's old.
Yeah.
Yolandi was singing that little song. She's old enough to breed.
Old enough to
she's old enough
bleed.
to bleed.
Yeah.
Old enough to bleed. She'll kick you. She'll like hit you in the brick or hit you in the teeth with a brick or some shit. That was so funny. Like, oh my god, it was funny. It was like, and they're like holographic rims for their wheelchairs.
And
man.
they kill somebody for their wheelchairs.
Oh my god, it's so bad. You know what sucks is there's not enough hot furry girls,
pictures.
man. Now, what's a guy gonna do? Like if you guys know girls that would like that are willing to wear a crotchless lamb suit, like that would date me, would you introduce me? There's not enough furry girls out there. What's wrong?
I was gonna say, yeah, there was I think in the north what was it, Wicker Park? They had it was like 2 years ago in Chicago. They had some sort of like a furry fest
Yeah.
in a park.
Hey, you can laugh if you want, but I'm a furry. I love that shit. It's fucking awesome.
Oh man.
We're sharing, getting to know you. Oh my
You're my
god,
first furry I've ever met. That's
dude,
awesome.
man, yeah, man, just yeah. When I'm like staring at a hot chick, I mean, most guys are thinking about undressing them. I'm thinking about what they look like in an animal costume. You know, like,
Get him one of them butt plugs with a tail on it.
I wonder
they
what.
have those. What's weird? I'm a furry and I like cute animal stuff, right? I don't like there's all different kinds of furries. There's motherfuckers that look like the try to make themselves look like a realistic animal. Like there's motherfuckers that have these like they spend like 2 or 3 grand on a fake horse head and they have like fake little hooves. Like look at my hooves, look at my hooves, and they're like stick butt plugs up their asses with horse manes. Like I'm not one of those kind of furries. I'm one of those like stuffed animal loving like little Bo Peep kind of furry where you get a girl dressed like a lamb or something. I mean, that's fucking hot, man. Fuck you guys.
I was gonna say
Lamb
it's like
chop.
dressing. It's like
Lamb chop. Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say it's like Pikachu.
How do you feel
considered
with a hand up
furry?
your ass?
Lamb chop. Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh.
We've
That's
descended
fist.
quickly.
This is a
It's a
fist.
bestiality. Good
That's
job.
a fist right there.
Yeah.
You ever have those
Date
weird
rape with
moments?
puppets and stuffed animals. No need for Ruthie's.
Yeah, Bill Cosby could, he should like capitalize on this and just come out with a roofie Jello pudding pop. Like,
I don't think he's coming out anywhere anymore at all, ever.
I hope not.
He won't be pulling out for a while either.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's kind of like Bush administration in any other country. It ain't gonna happen.
yeah. Like, and
Yeah.
that poor Jared bastard too. He's been the butt of so many jokes. I mean, like, the subway guy that like got convicted for the rape charge or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause
like
he
like
did it
he'll be
a long
getting a
time
foot
ago.
long at noon every day for the next 5 years.
I'm surprised he isn't dead yet, honestly. Because
Seriously.
that's usually what happens to those people when they get in jail.
Yeah, a lot of them do end up getting murdered. Like, remember that sicko that ate people, Jeffrey Dahmer?
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, I read a book about him, but he preferred to eat Asian boys, like underage, if he could get them, like Asian or black boys or whatever. But like that sick fucker, like he was cleaning a toilet in jail, and somebody caved in his skull with a blunt instrument. Like because he was a rapist and a cannibal. Like people that do really horrible things when they end up going in jail, a lot of them do get murdered in prison.
Not very well liked.
Yeah, not very well liked. I mean, because think about it this way. Like, okay, if in a prison population, there's a lot of people that are there that are serving like 10 years or 20 years, and they can't see their families. They miss their children, right. And then some guy comes
and a lot
in
of their
that's
problems
fucking
started in that phase when they were young, they were with their parents,
absolutely,
their mothers,
and
right.
The only way that they can make themselves feel better if they can't see their kids, or if their dad molested them or whatever, like depending on the situation, is, oh fuck, there's a pedophile right there. I'm gonna stick part of a clipboard in his neck. I mean, that's just the reality of prisons. That's why they have like protective custody for some people. Like some rapos, when they go into prison, they put them in special custody. They keep them isolated from the other prisoners so that they don't get killed. I don't know, man. America's turning into a prison society if you think about it. I mean,
that is true. Yeah, I would say that we have the most people per capita in the world that have somebody who's incarcerated, and I think the statistics is that I think it's like the 7 out of 10 Americans like have some sort of criminal charge in the background, and then here's even the weirder part, and I've argued this even on previous shows, is why should a background check even bar you from employment knowing these statistics?
Sure. Like I don't know. I'm a felon. I became a felon years ago when I was a homeless teenager. Oh no, I bought a bicycle from a guy, and then on a month or so later, a policeman picked me up and went into a house that I was staying in and asked whose bike it was. And I'm like, it's mine. I bought it. And it turned out that the bike was stolen and from somebody else. You know, I didn't know it was stolen. I just thought I bought a bicycle, and now I got a felony on my record. So that's fun. It's a lot of fun when anybody can Google you and oh no, I'm not going to hire you. It's one of the reasons why I have monetized video content online is because it's something that I can do to create value that I'm not dependent on going to a corporation going, hey, ignore my
Right.
felony record. I would rather try to create value or create a good or a service or something that somebody finds interesting to look at on the web and get paid for it than try to go hat in hand and work for less than a living wage because I am a felon. Like
Yeah, a lot of people will frown on monetization, but really, people are trying to survive. It's not about profit. It's
Yeah,
about survival.
it's about eating and putting a roof over your
sure,
head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
it really is. Like if you've been doing monetized content for years, you're just trying to survive. I'm not getting rich at what I'm doing, but
Oh, me either.
sometimes I do make profit from it.
I was gonna say, how's your Steam it doing?
Steam it. My reputation score is going up really high, and I'm at like 49 now, and it's maximum reputation of 100. And I'm really pleased with watching the evolution of going through Steam it. I'm not making a lot of money on my post yet, but I am seeing more interaction on there than I am in YouTube in certain ways.
I
I'm
have
getting more
Okay.
interesting conversations. I mean, more quality interactions with viewers on Steam it than I am with people on YouTube. It's because I think people have more buy-in that are on Steam it. But I think it's a very interesting platform, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm already making um, higher profit on Steam it posts than I am on certain YouTube posts, and that's pretty cool because I've been doing YouTube since 2008, and I've only been doing Steam it for a couple months now, like 3 or 4 months. And if I'm already seeing profit that's equivalent to some of my videos that are on YouTube already, that's a good sign. So I'm pleased with the numbers that I'm seeing as far as like people interacting with me, and especially like I said, back to the quality. I think they're two of their more interesting posting categories is anarchy and anarchism. There's a lot of really cool, especially ANCAP types on there that are posting a lot of really interesting stuff. So I enjoy it. I enjoy Steam it more than I enjoy Facebook. Facebook at this point, I'm just kind of using it as a way to promote my videos. I don't. I personally message people when I'm interested in talking to them. I troll my own Facebook wall. That's how I thin people out of it, like assholes or people that just are way too politically correct or uptight.
It works.
I'll just post a post about how I love Charles Manson or something to thin out the herd a little. But
So speaking of, okay, so I'm signing up for Steamia right now. Thank you for that.
yeah, man.
I actually I didn't talk. I sent a message to Charles Manson's grandson because he's getting a lot of shit for just being
Oh,
Charles Manson's grandson.
it's not his fucking fault.
It's not his fault.
Oh, but he gets
Wow.
so much hate mail like daily. Like
Yeah,
it's
well, what about
bad.
his wife? What about his wife? The 20-year-old, 27-year-old wife he has. What's she getting?
He's had some hot female companionship. I mean, this guy has gotten lucky way more than I have, and
He's
he's been
married.
in
Yeah,
prison.
she's a widow now. They were married before she was dead. Before he
Ew,
died.
like,
Hmm.
Yeah,
God,
they got married like
like-
4 years ago.
Oh, but what were you going to ask me about Steam It, man?
Oh, I was just gonna say. So I just signed up.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the deal? What do you do?
They take a while to get back to you, and then they give you the Steam It account. And
Okay.
once you're on Steam, you can decide delegation, like how much of your profit you want to go to Steam Power and how much of it you want to go to SBD. And SBD, or Steam backed dollars, are basically a cryptocurrency that's worth in value. I think it's slightly worth more than $1 per Steam dollar.
Huh.
It's like $1.30 or some shit. But once you start posting, like I said, I'm not making decent money on there yet. What I'm doing is I'm getting access to a lot of really cool fucking articles, like especially anarchist and subversive types. Like people just write a lot of good stuff on there.
Great.
You know, yeah. But my reputation score, the higher your reputation score goes, the more visible your stuff is on the platform. It's organized similarly to Reddit, kind of. But mine's already up at 49, and I've only been doing Steam It for 3 months, or I think maybe 4 months. But I really like what I'm seeing and the community. There's a few people that are supporters by way of just encouraging me to stay on there. There's Steaming Anarchy. There's a guy by the name of Graham Smith. It's Kafka Anarchy. Uh, 87 or something, but I like him and I like his blogs. He's a voluntarist or an anarcho-capitalist from Japan, and he's unschooling his child, his son, and he talks a lot about unschooling and how people should hey Uncle Bob, and how people should educate their own children, and how anarchist and subversive types should take the reins and actually educate their own kids. And he does some really great blogs about that kind of subject matter. And I've spent a lot of my life reading and researching about brainwashing and how schools and how society manipulate people. And I'm hopeful and very interested in the concept of unschooling. I don't know if you guys have heard of this concept before, but
I have.
okay, cool. Yeah. So Graham Smith does a lot of blogs about that stuff. Kitten, how'd you get your feet wet? Have you been walking in your water bowl? You've been in a toilet, haven't you? Yeah, you've been in a toilet.
Cat likes water.
They like the cleanest water, and if you keep a clean toilet, they're gonna go. I keep the toilet really clean, so the cleanest water in the house is, if it's not poured right out of the tap, it's gonna be in the toilet. So his goofy ass jumps in there, then sits in my lap and goes, "Love me." Right.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, I was gonna ask you how they pay you on Steam, but I guess it's
Oh,
cryptocurrency.
yeah, it's in
Steam.
cryptocurrency. Yeah, if people upvote or that's the same as a like. If people upvote, then the cryptocurrency just goes into your delegation. Like, and people get a maximum, I think, of 10 or 20 votes that are at full power, meaning more cryptocurrency units get moved if they vote fewer times. So there's all kinds of fun little things. Like you can, there's services that you pay them a tiny bit of SBD, which is like a few fractions of a cent a month, to auto upvote people that you like on Steemit. So it's kind of like having somebody subscribe to you. So far, I only have like 198 subscribers or followers or whatever. But I really love the concept. I'm very, very pleased with Steemit. Like the first couple hundred YouTube videos I've made, like I have like I think 1,800 on my main YouTube channel, and then a couple thousand more on other places that I've uploaded around the web. But the first few hundred videos I uploaded to YouTube, no one gave a shit about. I got like 37 views and no monetary compensation. The first 1,000 YouTube videos I've uploaded, I didn't get any monetary compensation. I just the last, well, actually the first 500 or 600, I didn't get any monetary compensation or compensation. It takes a lot of work before you get anything back when you're doing alt media, especially if it's political content. It's just really difficult, you know. But like I'm not one of those giving up type people. So since YouTube has been, I've had a lot of my stuff demonetized off of YouTube recently. Like the last few weeks, I've had over 700 of my videos demonetized en masse. and it's because of YouTube's conforming to these very strict content laws, or not laws, but rules. And it's my own damn fault because I curse a lot. I'm
I love
well,
to
you guys are
curse.
some of my
So
viewers.
so if you want to be monetized on Facebook, you have to abide by their rules now.
No, on YouTube, I don't
Sorry,
think
sorry, not
they.
Facebook, YouTube. My bad.
Yeah, I YouTube, our Facebook doesn't allow monetization of content. That's one of the reasons why I won't upload video there. Because fuck it, it's my property. You know, I can do what I want to with it, and I prefer to have it on a monetized content, or I prefer to have my content monetized. And I don't like the idea of me enriching Mark Zuckerberg when he's not giving me nothing. I mean, why should I? Why should I make profit for him? Like that fucker is literally turning. Well, it's not Zuckerberg; it's the Facebook Corporation. All of them, are literally turning people's hearts, their minds, their passion, and their drive into a product. And the people are the ones that are creating the value, yet they're the ones that are profiting from it. That's backwards. That's like saying, "Hey, we're going to make profit, and we're not even going to give our slaves food. They're just going to make profit for us, and we're not going to give them anything." I mean, at least in slavery, you fed your slaves and you housed them. Like, in a way, social media is a slave plantation where they're extracting mining value out of people's heart drives, passions, and their lives, and profiting from it, and giving the people that created the original value nothing, zero. I mean, something else about social networks that creeps me out is it's kind of like a self-validating feedback loop.
Yeah, you saw that. Did you see that interview that they had with the ex-president of Facebook?
Yeah, I was just about to mention the interview, but yeah, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd like to
the
see that.
echo chambers.
yeah, the designers were very aware of a real life hack on these dopamine impulses, on how addicted somebody could get to a like or a social verification on a digital platform. And it's kind of scary, but the average user is not aware that this product is designed to keep you here, and
Waste as much as your time as possible.
yeah,
Yes.
and it literally, how should I say, I don't know. I don't know if you have. I don't see. I really don't see Facebook having a future in the next 10 years. I don't think we're going to have to worry about
I
this
think people are waking
platform.
up
Yeah, for
to
too much longer, but it'll be something else sooner.
sure. But like I said, I mean, I just really believe that if people are passionate and they write a lot and they make a lot of posts in Facebook, they should have the option of monetizing it for themselves. You know what I find really insulting? I'll post something controversial thing that a lot of people likes, and then Facebook will send me an email going, "Notice that this post on this group that you run or whatever has received a lot of web traffic. How would you like to boost it for $5?"
Yeah.
That's like saying, "Hey, slave, hey, fucking moron, you created value for me and you profited for me. Hey, now how about you pay me to profit for me some more?"
And then while people are watching the fucking video, then we're gonna show a fucking commercial, and somebody else is gonna buy up that shit as well.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like they're fuck double dipping, they're triple dipping off of people's time that they've designed their social network to waste as much of your time as humanly possible, and they're going to suck the maximum amount of money out of you. But they're double dipping. Not only are they're selling the multiple advertising. Also, check this shit out. I despise those stupid tests on Facebook. What comic book hero are you? Or which Lord of the Rings character are you? And it's like all these psych profile questions.
Yeah, they're all
When you
psychosocial.
fill those when you fill those fucking things out, all you're doing is collecting data that those motherfuckers sell to a corporation so they can learn how to put a fucking pop-up ad on the side of what you're scrolling through to make you impulse buy some shit you don't want to buy. So they're selling that data. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're fucking, Conan the Barbarian, or I don't give a fuck if you're Frodo Baggins. Like, I don't like. Nobody cares, or they shouldn't care what comic book character their friend is, or what character out of the Thor movie their friends are. But they're like so interested in narcissistically like coughing that shit up and saying, "Hey, look at me! How many likes can I get for taking this psych profile test for Facebook so they can sell that data to have me impulse buy some shit I don't want to buy?" I mean, it's crazy.
Talk about buying shit. So I just logged into Proton Mail, and they have a Black Friday offer. Fuck this
I've been noticing
consumerism.
that. I've been checking my fucking Proton Mail, but I got like fucking 20 notifications about a Black Friday sale.
Yeah, Restream.io. I logged into that. It's Black Friday. Fuck you.
What the
Fuck
shit
you
is
all.
Extreme IO?
Restream.io allows you to stream
To like
from one place
to like a million.
to broadcast to a million. Yeah.
So you guys are all like computer nerds and anons and shit. Tell me some creepy shit about the internet that I don't know. Like,
Shodan.
scare me.
Yeah, tell them about Shodan. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
What the shit is Shodan? What is this?
Shodan will allow you to view any camera you want to see: computer, phone, tablet, closed circuit security camera on your street cam.
Show
Your
Dan.
Is this like
Yep.
government technology, or can any pimple
It's a,
faced bored nerd get access to it?
any nerd can get access to it, but when you get into it, you start seeing it as government made.
Oh,
I'm in it right now. All right, let me check this out. Cool.
Oh, that new
You'll
that new DNS 999, the new one that's going to be a DNS resolver, kind of scares me a little bit because they will blacklist sites that you would normally be able to find if you're using 9999, because it's gonna check.
guys, I'm gonna have to. There's people scurrying around in my house. I need to go talk to them right quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
all right, 999. That sounds like some Hitler shit.
Yeah, 99999. Or you remember instead of 8888. But
All right, I'm checking the first webcam here. Oh,
well,
it needs a password.
okay. The
Goddamn.
atypical passwords for CCTV is going to be admin, or admin password.
All right, let me try that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, most.
And if I do this on air and I'm logging into something I'm not supposed to,
you're going to have your IP address will be logged in there.
Just don't do a
So
lot
I'm
of
not going
moving.
to submit at this point because I don't have our IP randomizer logged in. By the way, okay, so let's ask this question out loud. What is the best free random IP anonymizer?
Well, I wouldn't be free, but I do know one that is besides. Most of them are not going to back you up if you got a fucking case. But as far as VPNs, I guess Proton Mail has a VPN that they say that they can back up in
Nord.
court. But I've heard reports that it's not secure, and they will sell you out
Use
faster
Nord.
than a $10 bill if a case comes in. There's another one that you can pay as a tour guard, and they're a little different. You can send them. You can use temp mail and use a temporary email, and you have the option, at least at one point, of buying in currency a gift card, right? And then using a gift card as a payment, and it would on the sign up process, it would completely give you a fake fucking ad, everything that's linked to something.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Use Nord. We were discussing that today for
What is
a
it?
couple of ops. Nord.
N-O...
Nord is RD,
N-O-R-D.
like
Okay.
Nordic.
Right.
It's $275 a month, $295 a month.
Because
Turn your volume down next time when you're in public.
I know I forgot my headphones. I don't know where I put them. Okay, so it says rare diseases. It's coming up with rare diseases. It's got to be IP something around here.
It's NordVPN.
Okay.
Speaking of the internet, I got to bring this up, and some people are posting, some posters are posting to our page. December 14th is the deadline for the FCC to vote on net neutrality. You can go to battleforthenet.org, demand progress. You can find events and every resource that you would probably need to start fighting this. But now would be the time to not only flood the FCC with emails, which most people have been doing, but to also probably go to any site where the FCC is and start protesting outside. Talk to your local Congress, whatever you can do. But if this Title II gets taken away from the internet, your internet service providers will be able to block sites at their own disposal and throttle internet connections on how they deem fit. But if this is
Okay,
something,
but doesn't this create a business for Raspberry Pis that are black boxes, kind of like the cable black boxes of the old days?
Yep.
well, no, what will happen is that what they're trying to do is corporatize data streams, and now internet service providers can selectively pick and choose what you can and can't see if this is stripped away. So if you
Well, how
guys,
the fuck is there going to be any free speech?
well, this is what's going to happen if this vote gets passed on December 14th with the FCC, and the general, I'm calling him General Fuckface Pie, thinks that it is good for innovation to the internet. And what's going to happen to people like us, activists, is that a lot of us are going to spread our information if we get blocked to other parts of the internet that are not very easily accessed.
I'm going to get ass hammered. It sounds like.
Not initially. It would be a gradual process for the people on with lesser viewed web pages.
So they're going to slowly push it in. So at first I'm going to feel a light pressure, and then the head of it goes in, and then pretty soon I'm like,
Well,
I didn't even notice, and it's full blown corporate crap.
Well, yeah, you basically
so
It's a
one thing that I learned at Standing Rock was from the indigenous people. They said if the government is going to screw you, they're going to do it in stages. So there's always a
Incrementally.
stage incrementally. They're not going to do it all at one time because everybody brings out the guns. So they go, oh, we're just going to only take some of your internet. You won't be able to see like Teletubbies website,
Oh
but
God!
you'll be able to see everything else, and everybody will be like, you know what, fuck it, fuck Teletubbies. Like I don't care.
You just
Yeah,
triggered
we
me.
done
when
it
you
over
said
here. We
Teletubbies.
can do it here. Kind of
The
Yeah.
last stage will be Pornhub, and then there'll be riots. But it'll be too late.
shit.
Don't take my furry porn. All right.
Yeah, they're gonna take away your
Yeah,
fat.
see,
Well,
that's how it works.
the funny thing
Take away my
about
fat. Don't take away my fat.
I mean, you can do things to access those pages, but anybody without a normal technical knowledge of how computers communicate with each other, they're not going to be able to find this content.
Yeah. So anybody trying to monetize content, unless they're willing to suck some serious corporate dick, they're not going to be able to make any money. Is what you're saying to me?
Well, they might throttle traffic to your websites or wherever you're to even watch Netflix or Hulu because of the throttleization would affect the streaming services content first. So you would see your streaming
So it's
service.
like an internet toll road.
Yep,
Yep.
yep,
Ew.
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, they
or
give
you
it
have
all
to,
dick.
or you have to go get it. Yeah, or you're going to have to go get a regular job over there at what, Channel 2 or Channel 8.
I am going to
And
run. Here's my plan. I'm going to run an Ethernet cable from my laptop to
Pornhub
whatever database
to Pornhub.
that I want to yeah, to Pornhub's to Pornhub server,
That's gonna be some
and I'll get my
long
connect.
Ethernet cables, man.
Well, I'll just paint it. Nobody will see it. It'll be good.
just
Hey,
think
Ed,
of it as a red,
check your
white, and blue
messages.
dildo.
But
I'm gonna
All right.
just start
It's a
reading
red, white,
books.
and blue dildo.
Just start reading books again. Fuck it.
Oh,
you know,
God,
the second,
reading
the
books?
second I start talking
Fuck.
about net neutrality, our viewers
That's why I left
disappear.
school.
But this is
Actually,
yeah.
what we could do is we could print out websites and sell them as books. Let's do it now. Let's go. We're being entrepreneurs.
So, I got a question for you. You know those internet like are those thumb drive drop sites where people like just attach a thumb drive with some data on it that they want to share to a phone booth or something, or
Yeah.
like a random brick wall.
I've heard of exchange programs for drop sites, like for drop site
Yeah.
USBs and stuff
So
like
if I
that.
want to just give some people some music or some cop watching videos or some videos of me like heckling riot cops or something, could I just like stick a flash drive with that information on it somewhere just to share it? Like, isn't that basically what people do? Like, or if they have some creepy fucking document they want people to be able to have access to, but they don't want to be associated with it, they just put flash drives around where people can find them. I mean, is
They,
that like a thing?
yes, there are places in the world where stuff like that does happen, and there are people that will archive certain websites and people for people who don't have normal access to the internet, or news articles, stuff like that. That still exists.
Fuck it, I'm gonna randomly do some of that shit for shits and giggles. Put some fucking cool information on some flash drives and set them up somewhere so somebody can have it. Fuck it. Why not? Call it my little contribution to the chaos. Mm. God, I love this fucking yellow delicious. I love apples.
Oh, I thought you were eating a peep.
Like a marshmallow peep.
Yeah, I thought you were.
Those fucking things are weaponized, man. That fucking nasty fucking food dye. Yuck. I'm
Hey,
kind
y'all
of a
getting ready to
foodie.
do some cop watching, or
Yeah, that's why the guys are sitting over there in the high vis clothes. It's a courtesy to law enforcement so they don't run us over when we're filming them. It's like wear high vis clothes. Yeah. No, I'm serious. There is that concern. They're like, he snuck up on me. I had to. Don't make. What is it? The cop says. Or they don't really say this, but I think they think it. Don't make me fear for my life, you.
Oh my god.
Because he made a furtive movement. I had to shoot him. A furtive movement, like Paganese is such a strange dialect.
So didn't you did a 3 hour video of where you did a sit-in on the city council where they were trying to I forget what the video was named. You know the one I'm talking about where they were trying to.
Yeah.
come for the meeting, stay for the beating?
Oh yeah.
You called it a shit show. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know what you're
Do
talking
that
about.
shit like they did in Braveheart.
Bob's asleep over there on the chair. He's waving now, but Bob had an incident where a cop. It took the cop exactly 7 seconds to get out of his car, realize what Bob was doing, and grab his camera and do damage to it. Well, if you make an official citizen's complaint in Portland, Oregon, they have something called the CRC, or the Independent Police Review Board, and basically they do a public hearing to determine whether or not the officer did do something that warrants administrative punishment. But the video you're talking about is Bob's CRC trial, where the cops are going through and trying to say that they're blameless, although the cop obviously did snatch Bob's camera and break it. But that's what you're talking about is that. But there's a big long series that video is 3 hours of public testimony. But the funny thing about that is that in a CRC hearing, which is it's not really a legal hearing, it's just called a hearing. It's like a public meeting.
Yeah.
But according to Portland Police Bureau's procedures, the immediate supervisor of the officer that the complaint is made about has to show up. Well, this was a drugs and vice cop. And if you want to have a lot of fun, Google Portland, Oregon's Nazi cop, and you will get all kinds of fun information about Mark Kruger. He's our captain in charge of drugs and vice. And this motherfucker is a real life Nazi Aryan love, Hitler loving motherfucker. He's got this was written about in the national press, but he set up 4 plaques to fallen Nazi soldiers in a park. He claims that he's just a history buff and he likes to do reenactments, and that's why he likes to wear Nazi uniforms. He's a trans Nazi. By day, mild-mannered police captain. By night, Hitler-loving Jew hating, bad boy. Like it's just creepy. But yeah, the guy, yeah, he claims that he likes to dress up and take pictures of himself in Nazi uniforms because he's a history buff. Yeah. Anywho, this motherfucker is Officer Groshong's immediate supervisor. And in the CRC hearing, it's a lot of fun because I personally get to call Kruger a Nazi at least 6 or 7 times. I'm like, every so often during the testimony, I'm like, Nazi! Oh, excuse me. But it degenerates into a lot of fun. There's like at one point one of the activists, a friend of mine named Charles Johnson, walks up to the one of the CRC members and throws a cup of water into one of their faces. It just gets crazy. It's a funny video. Like it's worth the 3 hours. and Kruger himself, Mark Kruger, the Nazi cop. Just Google that and you'll find all kinds of fun articles about him. Portland's Nazi cop, Mark Kruger. But this fucker has the gall to go to a public meeting and he's wearing like vintage 40s suit jacket and he has a Nazi SS haircut. It's like cut up to the side, high and tight, and it's like a fade,
shaved on the
and
side,
it's like comb over, like the Fuhrer himself, and he's wearing like vintage 40s clothes. I'm sitting there going, motherfucker, you know that I know that you know that you're dressing like Goebbels, okay? Like
You're dressing like a Nazi.
Goebbels,
Right.
yeah, just like fucking
Yeah.
Hitler's minister of propaganda. I mean, what the
Right.
fuck? I mean, you can't make creepy shit like this up. This guy's living the neo-Nazi wet dream. Okay, think about it. We got a guy that likes to dress up in Nazi uniforms that put up plaques to a fucking four fallen Nazi soldiers in a park. He called the tree he nailed them to the remembrance tree. It's fucking creepy bastard. Like, anywho, so we have this guy in charge of our drugs and vice division. Now, drugs and vice specifically target and deal with minority populations, poor and black people. Poor people, black people, Mexicans, people in that kind of demographic are people that commit statistically. There's more drug crimes. There's more reason why is because they're poorer and the police over police those communities. That's why there's such a higher statistic amount of people being arrested for smoking pot that are black and Latino. It's not because white people don't like pot. It's not because our bodies don't metabolize pot. We like to get high too. But anywho, so this motherfucker is an actual fucking Nazi, and he's in charge of policies, a command level Portland Police Bureau officer. So I mean, this guy's living literally the neo-Nazi wet dream. I mean, the only thing he could be doing to be creepier is like actually work in Auschwitz or something. Like,
He's like,
I
guys, we're moving to Poland. You ever heard of Auschwitz?
Yeah. I was burning shoes. I mean, making juice. I mean, wait. But it's really funny to watch us heckle Mark Kruger during that 3-hour video and call him what he is as a Nazi. I actually caught him in the hallway, and I'm chasing him down the hallway, and I'm like, look, motherfucker, my grandpa Dudley got to kill Nazis, and all I got to do is give you the finger. I feel cheated. No.
Well, Call of Duty World War II is coming out again.
Oh, badass! So I can pretend like I'm shooting real Nazis on a 50-inch screen in my living room.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it don't have zombies on it this time.
Oh, that sucks.
I gotta, I'm retarded. I can't figure out how to make Boot Camp work on my Mac because I want to play PC games because there's no good Mac games. I mean, there's a couple.
You can, I think you can, can you do with Parallels where you can run, Mike, or you might know. Parallels, it's like it's the emulator or the VM. You can run Windows and Mac on the same machine. I don't know.
You talking about partitioning?
No. It's called Parallels. I'll get the link.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the emulators. I know a few guys that play with the emulators on their tablets and everything.
I wanna play the new Wolfenstein game because I want to kill the Germans. That looks pretty cool.
The Nazis.
The Nazis. Yeah.
It's like it's not like I believe it's like a VM. Yeah, it's an operating system within an operating system. It's running like a VM, so you're gonna you're gonna have some of that. Your system is not gonna be using all the resources it would as a normal operating system. You'd have to like dual boot or something like that.
Have you guys played the new
That would
Wolfenstein?
suck.
No, but I've seen the previews.
No.
I
I
have.
wanna
It's
play
pretty
it.
good. Not the new, not the part 2, but the first one that came out. You talking about like the latest one or the number 2?
Yeah, the latest one.
It's pretty good. Yeah, that was
Right
pretty
on.
good.
Yeah,
Nah,
'cause
I'm hung
I
up in
want to.
Destiny.
I want to. I'm playing a lot of
It was,
Elder Scrolls Online right now on my Mac, and that's a lot of fun. I like.
yeah.
Yeah, I like playing the sort characters or the sorcerers are fun.
Well, with Alienware jumping in the gaming community, it's going to take PC gaming to a different level. PlayStation and Xbox is not going to be able to keep up with that.
Yeah, I think these guys are going to get cranky at me if I don't go out cop watching tonight, so I might have to jump off of here.
I gotcha.
Take us with you.
Right on. You're about to save some lives. We're okay with that.
All right, man. Or at least annoy some cops.
Also, I left you.
Get an
I
air
left you.
horn.
I left you a link to the video in the chat room. So if you want to snag it, it's right there.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having me on. It's always a lot of fun to talk to you guys. You guys are all really smart and funny, so that's always a good combination, you know.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. It's been a good chat.
Right on.
Learn a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot for your input, and I gotta finish my apple and then go and be a pain in the ass to law enforcement. I'll check you guys later.
All right. Later.
All right, we'll see you, Mike.
Later. Hey guys, I have a new game.
What's that?
What's that?
It's I connected with one political person on LinkedIn, and now every political person on the planet is and people you know. So I just connect with everybody. It's fun. I don't know who they are. I'm just hitting connect.
Well, let's not forget to spay and neuter our politicians before 2020 this year.
You know what I was saying? Remember I was saying that that we could actually use our trolls for like real purposes, like on the internet, like just trolling politicians because that they're all full of shit. Just to do it.
God,
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
easier. There's only so many. You got 535, and
It'd
maybe
be
a few
really,
more. It's a
It
it would
limited,
be
Jones.
really,
short list.
it would be really funny to actually see Donald Trump getting really fucking pissed to the point he says something fucking stupid on Twitter.
Yeah, but
Not
bunch
like he's not saying dumb shit, but something out of
well, it's not about the dumb shit. Like, I'm a marketer, and I'm telling you, he's not tweeting. Like, it's not his own tweets. Like, it's his. They even said on the account, in the profile bio, PR guy until he became president, and then they took that off.
Yeah. Oh no, he's
Like, there's somebody else tweeting.
He's Protus, and his wife is Lotus Protus, and yeah, and he also has a real Twitter account that's tied to him. It's like same thing, Protus or something, and that's his real.
Are you looking through my friends?
No, I'm serious. That's Donald Trump's real account. It's just been turned off for a little bit, I guess, until he's ready to reactivate it.
Well, I'm just hitting connect like 800 times.
Well, we can always spam him with Pink Floyd's "Brick in the Wall" or some Food Network
Well,
recipe.
what about when that tweet about Rocket Man and shit? Are you sure that's not Trump? Like he steals that device or whatever he's using, and
No, I don't think he even knows how to use a smartphone.
maybe
honestly.
that's probably true.
And this is not my insult to him. This is because I've never seen him. Like there's one picture with him with a smartphone. Like Hillary has like hundreds of pictures of her BlackBerry. There's if you have a smartphone, you're utilizing it. He has no pictures and videos or anything of him using a smartphone on a consistent basis. I don't think he knows how to use a smartphone.
You
He
might be
probably
right.
has his son or his daughter tweeted off for him.
Well, and that's what I think. I think it's one of them, or it's the PR. I mean, really, he doesn't have time to be tweeting like all the time. I mean, this guy's got meetings. If we looked at his meeting schedule all day and tried to figure out, because he's not tweeting at night anymore, you'll find that he's not, like, we can pinpoint a time where a tweet comes out and he's in a meeting with some world leader or something like that.
Yeah.
It's very easy to figure out if I wanted to. I don't. The only thing I'm trying to do right now is we're creating the show called the Trump Card, where we're lining up what he actually is doing versus the Constitution to show where, like logically, what kind of laws are being broken, not from a left point of view, from right point of view, just from a point of view that says if you actually care about this government, if you actually care about this country, if you actually are a patriot, so-called patriot, then you'll look at the rules being broken and say, okay, when's enough is enough?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it'll do anything, but I don't think he's technologically savvy. I've seen his office. He doesn't have a really good computer. Like, it all just points to he's not technically savvy at all.
Yeah, I would say that. I would say in most aspects of a human being, he's not very good at a lot of shit.
Right, and that's not his fault. He was babied.
Yeah.
This guy was like given everything, and then his parents didn't give a shit about him. So he was given everything, and he wasn't like there was no growth to him.
Yeah.
It was just here you go, and it's sad,
His
really.
father gave him a small loan of $5 million, $8 million, whatever it was.
Yeah, right,
Small
right.
In
loan.
the '60s.
A small
Well,
loan.
right, and
Yeah. I
while his
mean, that was a
father's busy
lot,
being a
man.
Nazi and all that, but yeah.
Yeah, you know how much cocaine you can buy for $20 million?
You get it cheaper with Bitcoin. Make that $20 million back. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just say that.
I really don't have the money, but I'm looking at this NordVPN, and it's a Black Friday offer, and it sounds really good. And they got like specials, and it looks really good. It's a 3-year plan for $99.
That's too much.
Really?
Yeah.
For 3 years? Yeah.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, that's equals out. So it
No,
equals out to
that's
so many like $5, $6, $7 a month. So over
it's like
3
three
years.
bucks a
Yeah, it's
month or less.
three
That's
bucks a
pretty
month,
good.
$275. Usually you would pay $430, and I'm not trying to be merciful for NordVPN, but I'm trying to convince myself that it's the right thing to do when I really don't make that much money per month.
Well, if you can't
Um,
afford it, then don't do it. There's other ones that are I mean that'll do the job. Um,
yeah,
I think with
I would
Torguard,
just
I think for that $25 gift certificate or gift card, it'll pay for a year or something like that. Unlimited data
huh,
speeds, unlimited no data limitations. But
for a $25 gift card.
yeah, just look up Torguard.
Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
Off the subject, I do want to reemphasize that Lori Love does have his appeal coming up. Lori Love has been on our show before. He
Mm-hmm.
is fighting a 99-year sentence that would happen if he is extradited to the United States. His appeal will be on the 29th and the 30th, I believe. So if you're in the UK area, go to the Royal High Court in London and show some support. I don't know what the rules are over in England, but if it's anything like the U.S. courtrooms, you can probably show up and go into the courtroom. So it'd be nice to show them some support.
Oh,
Right.
last I seen, England courtroom actually had a uh, bulletproof glass between them, between us or them, between the court judges and the lawyers. So you're actually sitting in a different room from them in the same room. There's glass separating you.
Hey, Mike says, can we get an off justice? Do we know what he's talking about there, Karina?
Karina McLaren was an 18-year-old kid, went missing, where I had picked her up in the night, stopping and on her way, and KVG trees witnesses that knows she lying way out, right out in the last video. Mike, you're gonna have to You're gonna have to send us more information in a message.
Huh? I just connected with a Massachusetts state senator. Oh, that's cool.
Let me see if any messages have come through. Hold on. Any messages?
Just clicking buttons.
Inbox. Let me see. Inbox. Cell phone accessories. That Mike. Michael Notion. Please don't spam our message box with. All right, I would check. Actually, you're not spamming our message box. I would. Michael Notion. I think you got hacked. You should really change the password to your account because you're emailing us ad promotions from Amazon.com. Change your password, and you probably clicked on something that'll spam it to everybody's account.
And that is Mike Phillips.
Mike Notion. I think I've seen it. Michael Notion. I've seen them in the comments before, but he's been messaging us constantly, and now we're getting ad promotions for cell phones for Samsungs for Black Friday from his account. Yeah, so I would definitely change the password to your account. But yeah, Mike, you'd have to send us more information on what exactly is going on. What else is going on? Anonymous. Let's see. Is it Anonymous Italy with the hack on Italian state government, and I believe it was the. Anyway, just Google Anonymous hack Italy. All the information from the data leak. Let me see if I even have it. If I even have the link. Should I even post the link?
I got a bunch of Italian language articles, which
yeah,
I
they're
couldn't
taking a
decode,
pretty.
but I was trying to figure out what they had done, really. But
I was gonna say, well, there was a bunch of emails that were stolen from the Italian government on all levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Preston, I think, had posted about the Panama government. Is that real? Did that happen?
I did find something on it. You can on the link from Cyber Gorilla. I believe it's not the .org. It's .com. They have a full Mega NZ data leak that you can download all of the shit, and you can download the data leak. It's all there.
Okay, and then you have to have converted to another language,
Well,
or is it all English?
I don't know. I didn't download it because I don't download sketchy fucking links.
Right.
Yeah.
I
well,
mean,
no, that was off an anonymous page, the Op Humanity one.
oh no, I have it on their thing. It's just like I don't know who uploaded it or what is actually in the Mega NZ data the data that's there. So I'm pretty sure the files would knowing that I might know the same circle of people, it might be there was probably nothing in it, but this is me personally, I wouldn't do it.
I can do it because I'm on a Mac and I don't have to worry about that stuff on a PC. So shit, I'm going for it. YOLO.
You can probably open it up in a virtual Oracle in virtual.
Yeah, I mean, if you're working in a virtual machine, there's a lot less risk that you know what I mean. In a virtual environment.
Yeah, you can capture it better.
Especially if there is anything malicious in it.
I'm going Leroy Jenkins. I'm just going to do it.
Leroy.
Saddle up, boy.
Where is it? I'll click on the link somewhere.
Click, click, click.
So
redirect.
also, I mean, if you guys weren't aware, there was I think I saw it in the commentary about North Korea, but I've been so there was a North Korean general or officer that had hopped the border. You hear about this? And they were shooting. The North Koreans were shooting at him right on the border, technically breaking the armistice that they have between North and South Korea. I really don't think anything's going to come out of it, but technically there was a violation on the treaties that they had signed over that incident. But knowing what goes on in that side of the world, I can guarantee you nothing's really going to happen. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, they shot that dude. They shot that fucker like 5 times.
Damn.
Yeah.
And I think I saw an AJ where the guy got a medical check out and he's just like full of worms and parasites. He has got some real medical issues.
That's probably why he hopped the border. He's like, fuck this shit.
I had nothing to lose. Yeah.
I should see a video. I should see a video of that in the next week or two.
It's all over. It's all over the internet.
Already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's out there.
You don't listen to Alex Jones saying that they were feeding him feces. Usually in that part of the world, either you eat or you don't. They're not feeding you fucking feces. But if they are feeding them,
so anytime Alex Jones speaks, I do the opposite or think the opposite of what's going on.
Like I would say, like you know that's why I always like check him out, because sometimes there will be some stuff that Alex is covering that is legit that other people are not covering. But I would say about 90% of the time it's out there out in left field. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had a little bullshit with the real shit. So.
Oh, and he will be doing another 34-hour cocaine-induced broadcast.
They're already in it.
Oh, they already are?
Yeah. I've seen first links for it.
Oh, my God. This was all...
I don't know why. He looks like hell, man. He needs to take a break.
He's doing it in He's doing it in retaliation because Vice gave him a bad review on his other 32-hour broadcast that he had done 2 weeks before. Alex is claiming that he's doing that he's using that stuff that he's using the nootropics to stay awake and stuff. And I was like, no, it comes in a white crystalline form.
It's brain force, dude.
There he is. He's live now. Okay, I'm going to give the link out so we can troll effectively. All right. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. So 36 hours. I tried 24 hours when I was doing for charity, video gaming for charity on God, what was it? WAP or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the charity. But yeah, 24 hours was really hard. I couldn't even imagine 36 unless you have meth or cocaine. It doesn't make sense.
Adderall, man. Adderall.
Even Adderall is just not as good as the real stuff.
As the real stuff, yeah. We're going to take another 5-minute break. We're going to take another 5-minute break.
You can bake it up in the lab with Mr. Walter White.
Hey, this is not Alex. They're showing somebody else.
Yeah, they rotate.
Yeah, when they do these mega broadcasts, they rotate. Yeah. The funny thing is that they're the people that they have on Alex Jones are all mixed on the political board. So I don't know, like that blonde guy that they have on towards the end of the show, and I've been meaning to tell the producer that, hey, your online content in the afternoons, when he's talking, sometimes your streams are fucked up, and Alex will come on, and other people will come on, and he will come on. They haven't picked up on it in a few weeks, but yeah, he is ultra right wing, or what you would define as right wing, whereas Alex technically defines himself as a libertarian. So I would say, throughout the day you get this like diverse end of the spectrum. But
I don't know that they have any true lefties over there.
I
can't think of
anything. Just different variations of the right.
So it's not fair and balanced,
Yeah.
but it's a right wing patriot network.
He calls himself the resistance, but I don't know. I
Only if you buy some brain force. See, that's the only way Paul Revere's horse keeps going down the road. You have to buy stuff. Just think if it had been like that during the Revolutionary War, like, Paul Revere rides a couple miles and he goes, "Oh, fuck, man, I don't have enough money to really be doing this. You guys need to help me out or I ain't going to do this." Yes. It doesn't even sound right.
even he was saying, a few weeks ago, I caught him saying that, some of his broadcasts are sucking. I'm like, well, you need to come up with different fucking content. And, stop making up stuff.
Well, when you back candidates, you lose uh, you lose your frame of reference, and you've now signed on with somebody or a political party. You're no longer non-biased. Basically,
Yeah.
Right.
he's made a classic mistake here, but uh, whether or not it hurts him or not,
Well, he invited that guy on the Las Vegas shooting that believed that the helicopters were armed with that were had armed people. With the videos where they're seeing what they say it's flash extenders or flash muzzle flash from a helicopter. That's not a muzzle flash. That is definitely a strobe light coming from the undercarriage of a helicopter, which is completely normal. So I don't know. Sometimes it's a guess.
there is a video out there, and I want to say it's are you talking about like that Jake Morphonios?
Yeah, but there was one thing that was kind of like iffy on his thing. I never checked out to verify whether it was true or not. That he was saying that the flight, that the VOR
Yeah,
on the helicopter was registering as a avionics flight, an actual airline flight.
yeah.
I don't know if that is that is a error on whatever software they were using to look at that, but which it very well could be.
He he had another Jake Morphonios did about there was they landed some choppers in a parking lot, and there was this big transfer of like Mercs and local Las Vegas Metro PD was there. I mean, you could tell there was something going on. This was right as it happened, and it just looked fishy. I don't know if you ever sorted out exactly what that was, but it's like, why are these guys landing in a freaking parking lot doing this?
Drop off mob money.
It was a dirty deal, man.
Yeah.
It's really gotten swept under the rug too. I didn't think a massacre of that style, and it's obvious one guy didn't do it, would get
Oh,
swept
definitely
under the
not.
rug that
Yeah.
easy. I mean, it's surprising.
Well, yeah.
It was
So
coordinated.
quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say when the FBI couldn't come up with a motive, everybody 3 weeks later was almost out of the news.
Now you were seeing this other video, right, where they had these guys on video with these RVs. There was like three, black clad guys in an RV, like on a parking garage right across from the stadium.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Oh man, I thought they would put that in the chat, but
My personal opinion is that it's a cover up for something else. It was never meant to make sense. I think in the first place.
Right. Just haven't figured out what that is yet.
I don't think it was ever meant to make sense. I don't think it'll ever be make sense to the general public, only to the man behind the scenes or the orchestrator, which is not Stephen Paddock.
no, and I've heard, I don't know, how true it all is, but that the FBI was on that floor starting a week before. Um, let's see, what was the other things? Jeez. forget that now.
Well, I mean, it very well could be, but there were initial reports that there were activist papers. Specifically, they were saying that there was Antifa literature in the apartment in the penthouse or whatever the fuck in the hotel
Right,
room.
Alex Jones put that out, and
Yeah,
it
but
came from a fucking what was it, 4chan?
yeah,
Really?
possibly. I don't know. That's what I was gonna say. I never validated the source, so. But just because you saw it. Oh, speaking of which, 4chan. Change.org is having uh, a petition that people are signing, and I will not put the link in the description because I do not support anything that's gonna trash where our roots came from. But they are having a petition on Change.org where they want to eliminate 4chan because what they are claiming that there is child pornography and X, Y, and Z that is going on 4chan. But anybody in their right mind would know that if there is real child pornography on 4chan, that would go into the jurisdiction of the FBI. I don't know who is funding this petition, but somebody doesn't want us, where we came from, our roots on 4chan, and want it banned off the internet. Now, whether they can legally do that, I don't think that they can. But the fact that Change.org would leave it on there. No, actually, I would say, let me take that back. 90% of the things that I come off of that fucking site, I do not agree with.
Well, there's
Yeah.
a lot of left-leaning
Yep,
petitions.
a
That
lot
I
of
have run
it on
across some
there.
good ones. I've signed
Yeah.
a few, but
Well,
yeah,
the black
the
blocks, the Stingray, the ban on Stingrays was on Change.org. So I mean that was cool, but that went nowhere. The Stingrays are still around, and law
But
enforcement
yeah,
is
none of
using
these
it.
positions
Yeah,
make any
real
difference
difference.
anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say signing petitions. I'm not sure if it really makes a difference anymore.
yeah, ones, but it's like some of these people that like they've been incarcerated for outrageous number.
Thing where they wanted to destroy net neutrality.
Well, we fought hard to get, what is defined, as net neutrality, even out there, and the internet's been under, at least in the U.S., it's been under constant scrutiny. Um, you know, but as far as the regular, how should I say, the government involvement in it, and net neutrality would keep a lot of it intact, but getting rid of it is just feeding the corporate beast. It's like our tool that we as the people can use to get the word out, whatever we're trying to do, whether it's starting up a business or social activism, whatever the fuck you want it to be. And it's turning it something that's just going to feed the corporate beast. And that's not where its roots. Actually, its roots are founded actually in the military. If you want to get back down to it, some of the founders, such as the guy who invented the World Wide Web, he gave that away for free. But I would say the major underlying of the backbone, came from the Defense Aerospace and Research Project Administration. But
Huh?
yeah, you're like, what? Say what?
Well, there's a bunch of things that would help them. One of them would be I don't remember the name of it exactly, but it has something to do with protecting women's information. Like if they were in a domestic violence situation and they were having a baby at the same time, they could go in the hospital under a number instead of a name to keep somebody from finding them. And this information's all out here on the internet. You can find anybody you want to, anyways. I mean, technically, the internet or the government's violating their own law in that sort of sense. So, like a family goes to witness protection, or somebody changes their name, there's always some piece of information to lead back to who those people are.
Oh, here we go. We got the name of the. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're fine. I was done.
We have the name of the person who started um, the attack on 4chan on change.org. Her name is Tamara Passaggio from Shoreham, New York. I would tread lightly, my friend. And I mean that in a very mean way.
Especially when you post your name on something dealing with 4chan. Oh
I
my.
was gonna say I hope you like your social media accounts.
Yeah. And you know that's going everywhere, especially all those little red room channels where there's cannibals and
Well,
rape.
I was gonna
Oh
say, well,
my.
4chan is, is where we came from, and the king of trolls. Trolling was, essentially, was an art, and it was developed a lot of around 4chan. And Anonymous was not nothing was it wasn't even really serious, and it was it was a lot of trolling for a long time on there. So what I'm saying is, when you try and destroy our home, you're gonna have a backlash of the most evil fucking trolls in the world after you.
That's
Not,
the originator of memes.
yeah.
All those little memes that people are enjoying, you destroying the root where that came from.
Uh, I'm glad how she didn't I'm kind of laughing how she didn't anonymize her name on the petition. That's funny.
Well, and
There's
so
enough there to make a good docs.
that begs the question: is it really a person? Is it really her?
uh,
You want to find out? Give me about
Yeah,
10
I
minutes.
yeah,
do. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna
give
do
Micro
too.
like 5 minutes.
Oh man, I'm looking now too.
Well, I don't understand. I don't think how can we have a First Amendment right? And her allegations of child pornography and what else is she accusing on the site? And endangerment of women. Um, I don't agree with the child pornography. I haven't seen it there. The endangerment of women. I have no idea what you're talking about. If you want to, if you, how should I say it? You're walking when you go to 4chan and certain channels, certain boards. It's like walking into a. You should know what you're walking into before you go to the site. So the fact that you're offended kind of tells me what kind of person you are.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah,
offended by a website, just don't go there.
yeah, you can't have it. I don't know. I don't understand how you can have it banned. Not if
Oops,
it's
I
not.
have her Facebook and everything. If this is her, oh, she has a Google Plus account.
She's fresh meat, man. We should also start messaging her on random social stations. Say like, hey, uh,
And she has such a how do I put it? A unique name. It's not pulling up 2,000 other names to go with it, so it just narrowed down the search that much.
What's the name again? Uh,
Tamara Passaggio.
Yeah,
Passaggio.
her middle name happens to be Star.
So is that like Smashio, or how do you spell it?
P A
Tamara
P A
Passeggio. Also
S.
known as Tommy Star.
in Shoreham, New York.
I must be spelling it wrong.
She's actually it's actually this petition is once she wants to go to the United States Department of Justice or whatever.
Oops,
Yeah,
35 Joe Mar Road, Shoreham, New York.
Well, let's be
Bachelor.
careful, right?
Oh, sorry. Bachelor of Science in BS. BS is a good one. Neurobiology and Behavior Business Management minor from Stony Brook University. Impressive.
Oh, she's too educated to know that when you get on 4chan, you're walking into a troll fest.
Yeah, tons of pictures. You got LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook.
Well, but so let's be
Let me
fair here.
behave.
Like when we were growing up, 4chan was the trolling capital of the world, but a lot of people have never been to 4chan, so they don't know what it's about. They just know that hacker 4chan, and they're still looking for him.
Career at lighting sales at Revco Lighting Electrical Supply.
Sure.
But that's those are pretty steep allegations in there. I mean, if you did have info like that, you would turn it into the
To the F,
police.
you
You
turn it
wouldn't
to the
start a
FBI.
petition.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it was
Yeah.
as if there was really child pornography, you'd probably do the right thing. Call up the FBI and be done with it. Make your deposition to the Federal Bureau of Investigation if there's really child pornography on there.
Additional name, Tommy Starstar. Well, it says she's 30 years old. She might be pregnant. I'm going to check her Facebook profile.
Starstar, is that the stage name? Stripper stage name?
There was another petition
know.
back in 2013 to take down 4chan that was similar to this. And if you look at the troll comments on change.org, for a lot of people in 4chan got wind of it, and you got some 4chan style trolling going on in the comments on it.
Yeah, you have to use a legit name for change.org, or they're not going to let you pass. So I'd had somebody do it who didn't have such a unique name, actually.
Yeah, like Tom Smith would have been a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's-
Director of Sales and Marketing at Minuteman Press for 5 years. Assistant Store Director at GameStop, Hollywood Video.
Angel, are you serious? I was to call the FBI because they would not do anything for a kidnapping. No, I'm referring to Angel. We're referring to a petition that's on change.org that wants to shut down 4chan and is claiming in a petition to the Department of Justice, which now has 771 out of 1,000 signatures, to go to the United States Department of Justice because they're claiming, where we came from our roots on 4chan, that they are saying that there is child pornography and endangerment of women going on 4chan. So, I mean, if you want to go that way, I would say that Facebook backs up child pornography and kiddie porn. You can report all you want, and the content will still be there unless you make a case with Facebook admins.
Well, but there's a problem with their Facebook profile. So it comes up as Tommy Star, and it has her name as the actual URL, but the Facebook picture and the Facebook picture the whole feed only goes back to February 18th of this year.
It's probably a fake
and it
profile.
shows that they were engaged October 12th. Kevin Kobe is engaged, but click on his profile.
Kristen, 4chan, she says, Kristen says, isn't 4chan a pool of white nationalists? No, you will find everything on there that you would on any other social media platform. But what I'm saying is that Anonymous was born in 4chan, and that's where our roots are from. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
What is the Anon-IB? What is that?
I have no idea what she's referring to on that one. You got me on that one, Jack.
She might have been meaning /B, so it's not even going to be correct.
I was going to say Anon-IB. I think she means /B. The B channel.
All right, I'm looking up her fiance now.
It's all freedom of information and public information anyway, so can't nobody get pissed about that. Ain't that right, Trump?
Okay, so he's 39 years old. His Facebook URL says KKobe 77, so it means he's the same age as me, but his birthday hasn't happened yet. So he's still 39.
I don't know. I mean, I could put this petition in the /B, and I will see what happens to this.
He's
petition.
from Maryland.
night over.
Okay, so I found a username, so let me go ahead and look up his username in every database in America, in the world. See what I can find. What is a non-IB? Is there like a secret division?
No, I've never heard of it. Anon. I think she's referring to /B.
Yeah, each state has its, or each state, province, or whatever you want to call it, has its own /P as well through 4chan. So it may be something for the New York tri-state area.
I think she's referring to the Anon Internet Board, but I think she's referring to /B.
All right, going to gnome.com here. Let's see what I can find.
Looking this up, what is she referring to?
Okay, Kobe77.
There is anon-ib.la, which has anal ass and chicks and amateur porn.
So she's been searching through 4chan.
Oh,
I didn't even know that was there.
The best anonymous image board, 4chan. What the fuck's wrong with you?
No idea.
It may be the revenge porn thing, because after Purge's Main, revenge porn became a felony or a federal offense. I don't remember which one it was.
So Kevin Colby only has two sites that he uses this username on. One's LinkedIn, the other one's Facebook.
Yeah, I was gonna say they mixed up 4chan with. So Kristen says, "Wow, change.org, ever get anything done?" Kristen, I would say I would agree with the same thing. I don't think so. I don't know if any of those things ever go anywhere. But the fact that it's there pisses me off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody would try and take a punch at 4chan legally, or at least politically.
She's wanting attention.
She's gonna get the wrong kind of attention, I'll tell you that.
I mean, these guys just look average. I don't see anything that... She might have just stumbled upon something and said, "Oh my god, I gotta make a petition because I'm triggered."
Normies.
What Alex say? Safe place snowflakes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, they say change.org has 200 million people on it now.
Those are all robots, though.
Yeah, change.org really peaked during the Obama administration, and now they've gone down.
I was gonna say, it's like nothing you see on there ever really goes anywhere, though.
No, it goes nowhere. Basically, everybody says, "Hey, I made a petition," and they're happy about that. That's their activism. Made a petition.
The fastest rising petition I have ever seen on change.org is when they announced that Ben Affleck was going to be playing Batman. I swear to you, in less than 12 hours, it had 1.3 million signatures.
To not have Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah, as soon as they said Ben Affleck as Batman for Superman versus Batman, it was on. I was like, I was amazed. I was like, wow. It was like 1.3 million signatures. I was like, you really have a lot of people that hate you.
What's up with the 4chan petition, bro? I'm asking Kevin right now what's going on. Because he's got to know that his girl did this, right? Okay, what's up with the 4chan petition? Bro. Got to make sure I put bro. All right.
Bro, Tato.
That's street cred there, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got 4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Oh,
right on.
minutes.
Kevin likes softball. He's a good guy. Seems like a good guy. Likes softball. He works
please
for
don't
a
forget to spay and neuter.
telecommunications network, too.
Spay and neuter who?
Your politicians.
Oh, we're going to have to. We're going to have to chemically castrate him or something here.
Oh, for the
It's
Anthony
getting out
Weiner?
of control.
Anthony Weiner? Jesus Christ. Can't.
Oh yeah, they can't
Let's
keep
be
anything in
honest.
their
We are
pants. Their hands are groping everything. I
well.
mean, these guys got issues.
We are
Right in
we
the
are
pussy.
chemically castrating everyone. Like we're all gonna die anyway. Like we're just throwing a whole bunch of chemicals at the wall and saying, "Hey, go ahead."
Well, didn't Trump a
Right.
coochie grabber too? I mean, didn't you see that?
Well, they wanted to
Grab him by
start
the cooch.
He
population
did, but
control
like,
somehow.
Yeah.
so it's so crazy. I mean, fascism has come to the United States in rainbow hats and rainbow flags and pink hats. Like that comment was from a Howard Stern, right? Like obviously you're gonna get like a comment like that on Howard Stern. It's meant to shock people. Like it's not meant to like, let's talk about your day, Johnny. Like it's meant to like trigger people. It's meant to people to puppet jump, to say, I'm a puppet, I'm a jump because I heard this word. And they tried to use it as the October surprise and it backfired hilariously. Like everybody looked at that like, really? That's your October surprise. That's the thing that's gonna take away Trump.
Only to be beaten by November 4th.
Yeah. November 4th
That was
great.
huge. That was huge.
I guess 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay, Kevin hasn't responded back. I think he might be working for the CIA. I don't know.
Did you say Keck?
No, Kevin.
Kevin? Oh,
Kevin, the fiance of the petition holder. So we're gonna have to wait. This is gonna have to go into the next show. But stay tuned. It's very important. We talk to this guy about his petition that his wife made. Soon to be wife. They're engaged. They just
Soon to
got
be
engaged.
ex-wife.
Well,
Yo, all these trolls from 4chan are coming after me now. Fuck you. When this is off, I'm calling it off.
I don't think
damn
either
it,
one of those
baby.
profiles are real. I don't know, but if Kevin's real, he likes softball, and that's nice.
he's middle-aged, yeah. Most middle-aged men have played softball instead of baseball. So.
Yeah, my wife was like 7 years older than me, and she got me into softball, and I'm 40 now, and I don't like softball anymore.
All right, guys, we got 30 seconds.
All right. I love you guys.
It's been fun.
It's been real. It's been fun.
Oh.
All right, and
So this guy got a website, so let me scan him.
all of our viewers, tune in next week. We will be back on Thursday next week. Thank you for tuning in. Also, check out our channel on YouTube and on Twitch. We do need some support on our Twitch channel on Twitch, and we'll roll out the credits.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.